since like the last time it's been deployed. I was like, what? I don't have to refresh? Let's go.
Yeah, and you can like toggle auto dance so you can turn it on and off. And then I think so somebody must be finding there's a confetti button in the lower right also. So I think so like if I hit that, everybody else sees it. For a while I didn't know if everybody saw it or not, but Madamus just put some crazy features in there. Also, if you hit the F key, and I think it's 1 through 4, but maybe I don't know if the other numbers on the keyboard. I think it's just 1 through 4 does special stuff. So yeah, I'm so easily amused. All I need is like the ability to just spam the room with flowers, and I'm happy.
Yep. Spend the room with Muse, and I'm happy over here myself. So, welcome everyone. I see the Twitter space is filling up. Really happy to see you all this week. You're catching a sleepy Mew, waking up, slash yawning and stretching. I might scratch if the wrong questions are asked. If you would like to come up and speak, you're more than welcome to request. Um, and just want to do a few shout outs. Good to see you, One Exist, my friend. Like one of the individual or one of the individuals to kind of like start the push for today's event. Good to see you today, man. And yeah, there have been some submissions from people that you have sent the form to. So thank you for that. What up, Jay? Welcome. Hello, Kellyanne Collins. I don't think I didn't see that She crypto plot, Kelly. Welcome to Decentraland. Hello, Javi. Low poly models. Welcome, unknower. Rustan, I see you down there. Mr. Swee, Alpha, Lord Like, what up, Zesty, Balin, Dixon, Hankos, and then we have a couple new listeners down at the bottom. Welcome.
I see a question that I feel like is a zesty question. Question, Zolid, welcome, good morning. Has the DCL desktop app for Linux been released through a browser has become a buggy experience? And Zesty, I think I know the answer. I'm guessing the answer is no, but Zesty's the guy that, I don't know, the Linux expert in the house.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everything else.
Usually, when I speak to Zesty and the topic of Decentraland comes, it usually follows with they need to start supporting Linux because, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's like as much as I understand of the conversation with Zesty because it goes over my head in like 0.03 seconds and smart people stuff. But I don't know, Zesty, is that supported or no? Probably a no. We'll see. Zesty might be undercover. He might not be able to come up and tell us. No, it's a down. It's a down. It's a thumbs down. It's oh my gosh. I feel like I was in Gladiator and you're like the Lucius guy, and like maybe there's a thumbs up, but then it's just down. So Linux not supported. Bummer. Someday maybe. I don't know. That's a good project for Zesty to work on.
the Decentraland Linux client. I, I
Is that even possible? I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think we'd have to clean up the dirt around here if we wanted a smart individual like Zesty to make something and want to make it.
True. But I feel like the crowd that would appreciate that they'd be the crowd that would bring so much advancement to Decentraland and be like, well, why doesn't it work like this? Well, let's fix it. Let's make it. Let's do this. Let's do that. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I was talking with somebody today and we were talking about like how important the 2D, like just anything in 2D should be for Decentraland, like getting on mobile. Sorry, not 2D. I didn't come out right. Getting on mobile so that the world can access it. Like that's, I think, something we don't talk about enough. But I'm suddenly realizing that that is something that people really want and really need.
I wonder how the world would be in 2D, like, or mobile client. Will Dollhouse need to redeploy a mobile Dollhouse? Will we be able to be in the same world, same place, maybe same chat? I've seen HP type from, I guess, his cell phone into Decentraland, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, you guys got it. All right, bye. I'm leaving."
Well, here's the thing that I'm an experienced developer. I've been a developer for like 14 seconds now, so I don't know what's possible. But why couldn't we take certain aspects and turn it into like a mobile app, like a mobile device? Like, don't bring the whole world in. That's nuts. That's crazy talk. But like, why couldn't we bring in, since now our avatars are VRMs, like, why couldn't we have something where, like, keep it simple, keep it focused to one thing, like a fashion app? Like, why couldn't we have our VRMs exported to this little app and you go in? I mean, I've been I've been doing a lot of market research with like some other like fashion apps like Zepeto and Life Makeover, and they're super popular. So why couldn't we just focus on one niche little part and then get people kind of hooked into Decentraland, like some aspect of that, and then it widens from there, kind of like DG has done with the sit and go tournaments. They didn't take the whole casino, they didn't take the whole, everything. They just focused on one little piece, and I feel like the more that we can do that and get on get on phones, get on mobile, the better it'll be. But I know nothing about doing that, so if anybody knows how, yes. We'll make mobile
I
apps
don't
for
know.
Linux. How's that?
My goal is that our friends would become inspired through our words, through our non-coder words. Or they could just be sitting there like face palming all at once, being like, "That's not possible. Sorry."
Do you think that's how Madamus was when we were making the birthday build for CB last May? And we're like, and then wouldn't it be cool if we had like hit a button and it would do this? Or I think he came up with the translucent screens, but I feel like we might have.
Not really. If I recall correctly, Madamus was like stone faced. Like we were like, "Can we do this?" He's like, "Yeah." "Can we do that?" "Yeah." "How about this?" "Yeah."
Yeah, totally. I don't. Yeah, actually, I don't remember giving him ideas. I remember him being like, yeah, we could let's just put that in," and it was like no big deal at all. That was so fun. I'm so glad to be back on the build. I love this build.
I do
And
too.
if anybody's here, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it felt updated. I don't know, or maybe it's because my graphics were on ultra or something yesterday, but it looked good, and I was not crashing.
That's good. That Greensifer helped me do the texturing. I could not have done it myself, and unfortunately my brain doesn't retain stuff, so if I had to redo this, I couldn't do it. He helped me, walk me through it. So texturing in Blender, that's what I got to learn next. And I see new friends in the crowd. Welcome. Shout out to Scott. Odd job. Love you, man. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you here this Saturday. I know life's been busy. And let's see. Oh, and Jay, we'll have to catch the Bucktown the punching bags next week in the build because they had to go away for this build to come in. But hopefully you're back home safe after visiting family, and yeah, it's awesome.
Speaking of that, I really hope that everyone in the room had a really good Thanksgiving with their family. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, of course. I understand that we are a worldwide community, so yeah, if you spent time if you celebrate Thanksgiving, hope you had a great time with your loved ones, ate lots of turkey, gained a few pounds.
You are robotomute. Anybody else, but it sounds robotic. But I did understand what you were saying. I heard turkey, gain a few pounds, etc., etc. But you were a little bit mechanized. I think that you've been assimilated.
Oh, I don't know. I'm too tired.
Now you're better. Okay, Zesty is telling us smart people stuff in the chat. Here we go, Zesty. Zesty on the question of the Linux says the short version to Linux support is just to use Brave. The instructions for building the client last time I looked needed a lot of love. Valve supports Linux for Steam where they can, and it sparked a lot of quality bug reports, and that helped the Windows users out. Okay, hopefully that helps. Thank you, Zesty.
Oh, I still have my blue hearts up from last week with blue on Music Matrix. Go back to purple though. Purple's my favorite color.
Yeah, I like the orange hearts, but I don't know how they get changed around, so I'll have to figure that one out. There we go.
You have to bring up your hearts and then hold onto the heart, and then another menu will come up.
It's best that I not dig, because then I'll find the sound effects, and then I will add sound effects to our space, and I can be really annoying with that. So yes, let's see. Thanksgiving happened this week. I think that a lot of Music Fest happened after our Twitter space last week because we kind of kept it really short, even though it was hard to keep it short. But gosh, oh, there was like a full day. I mean, it's wild how much time goes by. Like when you have those festivals, and it's just like 2 to 3 days of solid like music and games and everything. But yeah, really interesting. I think so Decentraland, the foundation, had a survey going around, but I believe that the deadline on that was yesterday to get that in. But if you haven't, I don't know if they would still accept it, but that's really nice to get the feedback. I think that giving the foundation feedback on those big tent, as we call them, tentpole events, like big events that happen a couple times a year. I mean, I think that's really valuable feedback to give to the foundation, and definitely had a lot of opinions. There were certain parts that were really awesome, and certain parts that like it's hard not to compare it to last year's festival and the year before, I guess, in a lot of ways.
I wish I could submit another form. I noticed that on my previous form, I focused too much heat on the foundation, the platform not working and all. But I guess one piece of feedback I could have given back to the whole festival's program was like having an open forum for musicians to like sign up and for community members to be able to share that form, and then like that way whoever was organizing it would have a pool of performers to like kind of spread out besides like just the individuals that hit up all the different venue owners individually. Uh, but yeah, I forgot to type that. I was too busy making comments like the festival was great whenever the platform worked.
Yeah, I think that was something that I don't know if maybe we heard it more because doing this space and on the CBD Discord, but it did seem like we had a lot of people say, how do I perform? And yeah, that would be awesome if it was just if it was more streamlined, like easy to connect venue owners with artists, or like you're doing with the music fest, just try to fit as many people in, because it's like that's maybe how some people get their first gig or like their first show. And kind of like we talked last week, maybe today's show is just better, like maybe the comfort level is easier, like people might not be ready to be like headlining the entire festival, but maybe doing like a smaller venue like this is easier. I know there's some people today that are doing their Decentraland debut, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's quite a few. Void is making their debut. Man of House, which I'm very excited about. Man of House. I've been following him on Twitch for a while, and he's always he's got a good musical palette. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to see them coming. And who was it? Oh, there's somebody asking a lot of questions yesterday. Just kind of like it was really cool to try and not on board, just talk to somebody that we met yesterday, one of our new friends, and they're a DJ in Horizon World. So it was really interesting, just like getting their perspective. What does it take to be a DJ in Horizon, like versus here? And so it was really interesting because there's some things that they are doing better, and then there's some things that they were surprised. They're like, "Whoa, like you guys get to keep all your profits?" And it's like, "Yeah, like I mean, we give a little bit back to the DAO, like the small percentage." But then I realized, oh yeah, like we have a submission fee. And Horizon Worlds doesn't. So it's like, at first glance, it might feel like, oh my gosh, this platform's just so awesome, and they were like, the person was surprised that we had a submission fee. But then I was like, well, do you, like, it goes back to the DAO? Do you guys have a DAO? And they don't, obviously. But so, yeah, like, really interesting, the pros and the cons. I mean, we have legs, so I think that still sets us, I'm still gonna, I'm gonna be partial. I'm gonna be biased to having legs. I really like having legs here.
Legs are nice. Emotes do a lot of things with legs. We dance and we do lots of great things. Horizon Worlds, I haven't had a chance to try that out. What was your first experience like?
I didn't. I haven't gone into it. There's no reason to. I'm not gonna leave the. I'm not gonna go to the dark side. I'm Decentraland or die. But just kidding. I did go to Roblox. Spend some time in Roblox this week, and I've been doing some like hardcore Fortnite research, and so it is. I think it's really good to look at these other platforms and like figure out, okay, what are they doing well? What are the blockers? What could they be doing better? Because then when you start hearing like performance issues in these other metaverse worlds, you're like, oh, okay, like that sounds familiar. You're having the same issue that we have. And I think sometimes we tend to like, because there might be frustrations, like legit frustrations that we have, like load times, and we have a festival and it doesn't load, and we can start getting really negative towards Decentraland. But then just to hear that like other platforms are also faced with that same challenge, then it's just not so isolated. It's like, all right, simmer down. Everybody's got these challenges. When you get more users in, it's gonna take longer to load. So I don't know, I think that perspective is really good. And yeah, I like our clothes here better, although Fortnite's pretty realistic. But Roblox, I don't know, square. Still square.
Very square. Well, I do see a few new listeners that just jumped in. If you would like to come up and chat with us, you're more than welcome to. If not, you can continue to listen to Canessa and I ramble about our experiences on Decentraland. Uh, talk mumbo jumbo about what could be, and because we have all the coder experience, and you can hear me shill about the upcoming Music Fest.
Yeah, or I'll shill it for you. I love seeing so many people here. Like there were people here early, and I love that. So thank you everybody for being here. I think this was actually one of my first real blender builds. Like I was so proud of it. It's these stupid like seats in the pool that say CBD. They were so hard to do, and like my texturing on them is it's so sad. It's so primitive. There's no shading, but I was so proud of them, and I'm still so proud of them because you just got to be proud of like where you're at. But good morning. Let's see, Senor. Welcome. How are you today?
What's going on, Canessa? Mew, what's up, man? Um, yo, I saw a lot. It was a lot going on this weekend. You know me, I'm trying to keep up without this laptop. But yo, I was just excited to see all the dope outfits, and I took a chance to, really dive into the music side of it and just, you know, check out some of the DJs and just get familiar with that culture because I'm a little behind in that. And but yo, it was dope to actually see, like, just the different genres and the different bills that they were all attached to. And something you said that just kind of like sparked my thoughts were how are they actually going about you know incentives. Like, that was something I've always wondered about Decentraland. I see a lot of people doing the wearables and the emotes and things like that. But it's like, outside of just sales, like when it comes to performing and actually hosting, like, how are these guys being incentivized? Because they're doing such a great job. I could only imagine that, they would have some type of back end or something coming from that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think and I could be wrong, but it's my understanding that the a lot of the DJs are getting paid for their um, gigs, their time, and I think it probably comes down to the connections that the people make, and then my guess is that you just gotta hustle and get out there and get in the DMs and be like, "Hey, I'm a DJ. Can I perform?" And probably do that 10 times a day to different venues, and at least like while you're getting your name out there, I guess for new DJs coming in, that's probably just something that you've got to do, and just like any not just DJs, but if you're a visual artist or a coder or a builder, like you got to hustle, you got to get your name out there. And so um I think there definitely are DJs that do that. I mean, some people have their own builds, their own venues. Others try to find kind of the bigger venues and do regular shows. So I can't speak on the details on all of it just because I don't know. But my my guess is that they're finding ways to monetize it, and that keeps them coming back. So that's good. That's what we like. To
Right, right. I could only imagine, just like, the future realm of it all, just actually opening up. Because like you said, I was actually looking into different worlds too, because Artifact dropped those shoes that I was so excited to get. But I got to get this laptop before all, so I had to really kind of say hold on that. But just talking to some of those on cyber guys, man, they're like gun ho over their world, and actually just stepping on all the other worlds because their world's the best. But like you said, I see that we're all having the same issues. But to me, I actually think that DCL is actually solving some of those problems a lot quicker than a lot of these worlds, which keeps them ahead. But that's just from my outlook of it. I'm not a coder. Eventually I do want to get into building, so I'm still just learning from as many people as I can, especially you guys here in spaces like this. So I'm just like you said, I'm just trying to actually find my way through it too, and put my artwork and things out there as well while doing that, and just having some fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how it works. It's got to be, you got to, first of all, you got to love it, or it just becomes a burden, a bear, just something, a task that you've got to go through. And yeah, and then, I mean, if it's something that you're trying to make money on, it's finding, I don't know, finding those niche ways that you can do it where, like if it's Decentraland or Roblox or, I don't know, Fortnite or other places, like just for me, I think it's valuable to go look at some of the other platforms to see how they're doing it, because otherwise you just get boxed into one way of thinking, like, and it's an echo chamber. So if everybody around you is telling you like DCL is slow and buggy and it crashes, and inevitably we start believing that. And so just to talk to this person from Horizon Worlds, and they're like, whoa, you guys are so far advanced from us, and I'm like, in my head I hear crickets. I'm like, really? Like, because this is what we know. This is the marketplace, and this is, you gotta, there's so many hurdles, like crypto and everything. So just to hear an outside observer say you're advanced, what you're doing is amazing. I can't believe that like at this party last night, Meta Tiger had his wings there, and they were like, I can't believe you made these wings that I'm wearing. And in Horizon, that can't happen. So there's just, I think we do forget maybe how pioneering we are in some ways. I don't know. It's nice to have that perspective, I think.
You should have blown his mind by telling him that you could download the VRM.
Oh, I forgot. I think VRMs are so under, like, we don't give them enough credit. Yeah, that's all. Should have.
What's VRM?
Yeah, Sin, what's VRM?
Yeah, about that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the words for it. I'm barely awake right now. But I
Virtual. Let's
know
make up
Google.
something smart.
I know Google knows all the answers.
Okay, we might get something weird, but I'm gonna Google VRM. Oh, it's a stock price. Okay, here it is.
Voltage regulator module. That's what it is.
Voltage. Everybody in the audience is like, why are these two the hosts? Like, they don't even know what VRM means. Okay, VRM is a file format for handling 3D humanoid avatar data for VR applications. So basically what it does is you push a button here and you can have your avatar and download it and then take it to other platforms. So like, oh, here comes Zesty. Okay. Here comes the smart kid. Sin, you and I, let's get our notes out. We're going to take notes because the smart kid is going to talk. Okay, smart kid, we're going to take notes. Please learn us up good. What is VRM?
Virtual reality model. That answer was so cartoonishly wrong, it triggered me into stepping up, by the way.
What? But I read it on the internet, so it's true. It's true. It's on the internet right here.
I heard someone wrong on the internet, and I had to step up and correct.
Well, it's the third from the top, so it's vrm.dev.
So a voltage regulator is not it?
Yeah, we're not talking about printed circuit board. So yeah, that one's wrong, Sin. I'm sorry.
Damn.
But now we know how to get Zesty up here.
Yeah, just say like comically wrong things, and it'll happen. Maybe. Or
haven't we been talking for like 35 minutes saying comically wrong things?
We love you, Zesty.
Okay, so Zesty, what have you done with your VRMs that would surprise us? Have you done anything like uber cool with them? Because you have so many.
No, I've just been exporting different outfits. One day they might be useful, or not. I'm in the camp of people that thinks that even if Decentraland just goes poof one day, uh, the VRM the marketplace can live on as essentially a custom VRM shop.
So yeah,
That
that's really
that'll be
interesting. I
that'll
mean,
be
just
that my thesis is if Decentraland gets nuked, the market because of the VRMs will be the cockroach that survives.
I can definitely see that.
Because they made it simple. You change into whatever outfit you want, and then you click a button, and you get the save a file dialogue and name it whatever you want, so that it makes sense, and that's it. Like it, you don't have to do a lot of work on it, and that's nice. Like the
so
rest,
what?
everything else could just, 5 years from now, we could look back at this and be like, yeah, everything other than the VRM export was just noise.
So what do you think? Like, what do you see happening with those VRMs? Like, okay, why? I guess like if we didn't have Decentraland's VRM machine maker, whatever, it's like, how else would you get your avatar
I mean,
exported like that?
you're downloading GLBs in the out of the builder, and uh, just throwing everything into Blender and dealing with it that way. Um, versus any rando with a wallet that has like assets in it can just equip those things and then click the export button, whatever it's called, and boom, they got a VRM.
So just I'm thinking, it people might not understand 100% what that like, I don't know, the implications behind it, but like, yeah, if I wanted to take my avatar with the clothes that I'm wearing, I know some people can get the GLBs even if they don't have access to the files, but yeah, it would be a nightmare to get it out. I mean, you'd have to have higher advanced coding skills. Do you know what other places can you take that VRM? I know Hyperfy. Is it
Yeah. Oh.
spatial,
Um.
or
Oh.
could it just be anywhere?
There's a rather saw-like process behind it, but you can take them to Mona as well.
Yeah, because that's huge. I mean, just being able to be who you are. I know, like when the Vipe project came out, I had to do, well, you guys, I had to re-roll a few thousand
No.
times because
No.
I wanted my
What
Vipe.
what I can see happening is a push to make the default avatars better, so that we have mouth movement and things like that, just to make the VRMs better. Because you got guys like Morph that he's done all this work on the Morph bot, so that it's like expressive. Uh, my thing is, why the fuck should Morph even have to do all that?
That's huge. That's huge. I mean, for me, like what Morph's doing and what any one of us could do, like if you so for anybody that doesn't know what Morph's doing, he's taking his bot avatar because he's usually a robot, and I don't know, there's a term for it, but facial mapping. So then what is it, Zesty? I'm gonna sound stupid. It's I know there's a name for it.
I don't remember the term either, but face tracking.
Yeah, it's face tracking, and then it's so then when he does YouTube commentary, it's not him, so he can remain undoxed, but it's his robot, his bot avatar doing the talking. So to me, that right there is like gold, because I think most of us in Web3 want to retain our anonymity and not dox ourselves, or we want to just keep if we were going to do YouTube or anything visual, we're going to try to keep on brand with our avatars, our brands, our characters, whatnot. And so just having that right there is huge. Like huge. And I see what Brandon Manis is doing with his Vipes, and I think it's just going to be a whole like freaking like um a market that we just haven't even explored. Like we haven't even tapped into that. I think a couple people are experimenting, but what the world's going to be like in 10 years from now, like I think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be VRM, face over, speaking, whatever it is, if it's gaming or anything. There's just, I mean, people are already doing it. They're doing these personalities. Like Doki also has her person or persona. So when she does tutorials, it's not her,
Right.
it's her avatar talking.
Yeah,
So
That's huge.
Morph and Doki really are the trailblazers for that.
Yeah, for sure.
so let me ask y'all a question. What do you think will be the next thing to really separate DCL from all the other worlds? Because it seems like we're kind of at the same place, I guess, when it comes to, actually the build out of everything. But it's like something seems to be missing. And it's like I can't really put my finger on it, but maybe you guys can answer that.
Go ahead, Zesty, if you've got commentary on that.
I don't.
I mean, trying to monetize it. I feel like that's like a common issue everywhere. Like because unfortunately the world runs off of monies, and
Yeah, with the interest rate hikes in the last couple of years, I'm sure everyone here's noticed a lot of uh, like Reddit, Twitter, uh, all these action or YouTube with the ad blocking, um, all these things that crack down on free use in some way. Uh, it all comes down to money.
Right. Well, just going back to those guys I was talking with this weekend, and the first thing they said to me about why I'm in DCL is like, yo, you got to pay for everything and you should come over here because you can just build out for free and all these things. But in my mind, free is not always the best thing. But they had a good point. It was like, it was so easy to, on a mobile device to just jump in and, actually explore. It was just, it was things that there were perks basically. But like I said, it's something that just DCL has that just still puts them top tier to me. But like I said, I haven't been able to explore as well as I wanted to in the past couple of weeks. So I really can't say, but like I don't know at this point. You know what I mean? But like I said, I am still Team DCL.
I think the fact that I could go and and this, I know it's it's bad, but like this sentiment has been in my head since before I bought land here, is that if I wanted to go put a giant middle finger on my land, I could, and nobody could stop me. Like that right there is the draw. And I well, not to say I never would do that because I might, but like I have the control over my land, and to do that, yes, I had to make my investment. And so these other places where you can build for free, I mean, to me, like there's always that trade-off. If you're building for free, how much control do you actually have over your land? Because generally, like that there's you're paying something for that land. And I think
Correct.
here in Decentraland also, like with the advent of worlds, where now for $40, if you mint your name, or today a little bit, closer, a little higher, which is nice, like $45, you can mint your own name, and that gives you your own 90,000 parcel world to build out. I think that that's, like that's huge. And also renting land, um, like I've rented a 3-piece parcel for like a mana a day. It's like 30 cents a day for an estate. I mean, there's some cheap land rentals out there. So, you do have to pay for it in that regard, but you don't have to, I don't know, like there's so many ways to participate and be creative um, without paying. But I think, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
no, totally. You made great points. But just to actually piggyback off of what Mew said, it's like, far as it, monetizing it, it's like, you're right. At the end of the day, it's all about the money. It comes down to money at the passion and everything like that. But maybe we're just so ahead of the game and we're just seeing so many great things happen that we're so passionate that we're ready to see all these great outcomes come from it. But maybe we just got a little more building to do. It sucks to say and hear at times, but I think that's what these spaces are for, is for building communities, because I think the real bag is going to come in when we start really collaborating more and more and more, and I guess just banking on that type of thing. So, I'm hoping for the best, and I'm really excited about getting involved in some things and actually partnering up with some of these, some of the guys that I see and girls that I see going have things going on, because I think that's where the best, ideas are going to come from, when we start, just bouncing off of each other, and just really going at it, man, because these other worlds, they're passionate, man. Like, I was getting chewed in some of these comments, just because I was obsessing over the artifact shoes, and but I was holding DCL down, so they was letting me know like where I was. Definitely did. And it was great to hear. But like I said, I was telling those guys, they seem kind of niche based to me, and no shade to anybody in that realm, but it was just like, I think that's what separates. One of the things that keeps me actually optimistic on DCL is that I really see it being way more global than some of these other worlds at the moment. You know what I mean? At the moment.
Yeah, I can just say my perspective on that in the last 2 weeks has changed. Just like interviewing ambassadors for the ambassador program, kind of eating my own humble pie and realizing like we're so much more global than even I have uh, realized. But Sin, you were gonna say something?
I think the whole train of thought went away. It had to do. It was more or less about like kind of how like Senor just mentioned that like the Horizon Worlds crew that he met was kind of like a one metaverse like community in a way. Like I guess like even one thing that may benefit you, which kind of seems like you have that like mentality, it's more of like, when we say the word metaverse, the definition is a collection of virtual worlds. So in a way there is like no competition. We like each platform has its own is going to have its own niche, and it's going to have its own like thing, pros and cons, and it's just going to be like different users coming through using different metaverse platforms for different events, whether if it's like come over to see Jim Cedric grill on Decentraland, and then right after we'll go see Rustan on Hyperfy. Like like that's the vision. And sorry for rambling. I'll pass it over to Doc.
Yo, good morning, good morning. I had to like run around to find my AirPods, so I'm a little out of breath. That was a great question. I was excited to jump up here. So I think the thing that makes Decentraland, the dopest out of all the metaverse worlds, because like metaverse platforms are dope in themselves. Like you got beasts like Roblox and some smaller ones like Zepeto, and like they have really dope features in terms of like social interaction and like things to do with your friends online that like kind of give a 3D view to like these online relationships that we used to have. So like metaverse is dope on its own. But the thing that I like most about Decentraland is the blockchain technology that's underneath it. So like the whole marketplace being like this generator of Ethereum tokens, Ethereum based tokens, right? Like, and also L2 tokens for that. Most of our wearables are on Polygon. That'd be really sick if one day we had like a premium opportunity to pump out more tokens on Ethereum L1s. But like, so we have that opportunity to create these crypto based NFTs. So now our wearables, which have a purpose. You know, we're putting them on our avatar, we're rocking them, we're enjoying them, we're getting joy out of wearing them to events online. You know, I feel so cool when I wear my Clonex head and people see that and recognize that. But now it's like, even if Decentraland goes kaput, like you guys were saying, we've still got those tokens, right? And now we're competing with Yuga Labs and Artifact in what they're doing. And so if Decentraland, let's say that maybe there's some wrong turns in management, or maybe they decide to just be a protocol only, they can do that and it can survive. And then what you guys and what Zesty were talking about earlier with VRMs, we're now, which that came out of nowhere, right? They're just like, let's click a button and turn on a VRM exporter and just destroy the game. So they did that, and now we're a VRM generator too, which, let's go back to Metaverse and VR. Let's talk about VR for a second. We haven't even touched that. That's what the VR is for. And I laughed when I was listening to that, because me, Nikki Fuego, and Doki did a Twitter Spaces with Drafo when they were launching their VRM market, and we were about to go on stage. And I'm like, okay, you know, we linked up in Discord to review our stuff, and I'm like, you guys, what does VRM stand for? We're about to go look like some professionals out here. What does it stand for? So we had to Google it. VR is virtual reality, and the M is for model. So these are just GLBs that are a different format. That's like a better protocol for being a universal like model for different VR platforms. You've got VTubing. I know Peanut Butter taught me a program called Animaze. They've got a free version, which I use that for VTubing my clone. I haven't done a lot of it yet because my mouth isn't working. Oh, package delivery time. So the last thing I wanted to say, cool, I got my package. The last thing I wanted to say was, so we've got the blockchain technology, we've got the VRM technology, and all these things put together is what makes DCL better. And the last thing I want to land on is, DCL is not the end. Like, they're just getting started. We're gonna bleed over to bitmaps and what's going on in Bitcoin, because you guys want to talk about the king crypto metaverse stuff. We've been talking about ordinals for a while. We've been talking about inscriptions for a while, and these other technologies are just, they're just getting started, and I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do. There's my bell. Thanks for listening. Love you guys.
Yo, Dr. Drip, what's up, man? I'm a holder of your collections on inscriptions, man. When inscriptions on Decentraland.
Right? No, we got wearables though. Yeah, we got the Decentraland wearables marketplace selling on Polygon, like I was talking about. But dude, thank you, and thank you for being here. There's only like 8 holders on that collection, but I planted a bunch of seeds. I made two ordinals collections, 2 inscriptions collections. One of them's Anon. You're probably a holder for that one because that one's doing better. And dude, I made a BRC.
I hold both of them.
Hell yeah, I made a token, blunt token, and that one's got like 85 holders. It's all just for fun, but yeah, dude, thank you for being here. 6 PFP.
Thank you, sir. This is my MF Per / my PR Guitar Man 9 Cat Creator masterpiece on chain,
Yeah.
bro.
We all know and love Nyan Cat, and he's really big in Decentraland too. And his pixel art is dope. I kind of wish that your PFP was animated though, because I know that thing is animated. That'd be sick.
It is. When X
yeah,
starts
Twitter's
rolling
got
out the gifts, you know what I mean? You'll be able to see my background moving. But if you go to my page, I made a little like a .eth.limo webpage, a ENS webpage, and it gives me like MySpace vibes. I don't know if you guys ever like used to work on MySpace pages and stuff like that. I had like somewhat of like little bit of coding on me, so I made a little MF Per social media page. Y'all can check it out.
Yeah, after party. Thank you for being here. I can't wait to see the animated version of your PFP. And go ahead, Kanessa. I think I spoke over you.
No, you got it. You got. I was just trying to find his name, but yeah, that's gonna be awesome. It's animated.
Yeah, I have the animated pinned on my profile. You can see it moving there.
You also struggled. I almost said like cat rainbow, and I was like, wait, those are not words. Well, kind of words, but
I think I've talked about e-scriptions a couple times up here before, but I know it's pretty new, and a lot of people aren't super familiar with it. But if you followed Bitcoin ordinals at all, earlier this year, it got really popular. They were inscribing arbitrary data onto the back of Bitcoin satoshis, and then they took that technology and brought it over here to Ethereum. So you just like basically enable your MetaMask wallet. You go into the settings and turn on the hex input, which I've heard people smarter than me try and like give a layman's explanation of it, basically being like the comments section of your transaction, like when you send like when you send a payment to someone, like a Venmo or something, you've got that comment section and you put like beer and pizza, with the emojis. You put whatever comments. It doesn't do anything, but it's just this extra field. And that hex field takes hex coding. So people are like taking whatever arbitrary data, just random, whatever they want to put on there, and running it through a hex encoder, and then taking that little bit of hex code and adding it to an Ethereum transaction where they
Transact.
send
Yes, sir.
they send 0 ETH to themselves. They pay the dollar or so of gas, and then it's basically like that technology evolved, and it's really cool what they're doing. Most of the art is required to be like really small at this time, so like that's why pixel artists like Nyan Cat are just like paving the way and using their legendary status to have some fun with it. But yeah, if anyone's heard of e-scriptions, that's what it is, and that's what's going on there.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is that, like, ordinals made those or that guy dumb no numbers or whatever his name is, that created the protocol. Like, ordinals made him say, why doesn't ETH have something like this? And then he was like, let me figure something out. And then he found out that somebody already put inscribed an image in 2016 on ETH, doing it like this. So he pretty much just created a way for you to be able to see the image. And the first image was
Yeah, and
of
that
a
was
cat.
was it a cat?
Yup, it said human society shall be enciphered.
Bro,
Okay,
I'm happy y'all here.
I must be thinking of ordinals. Do you know what the first ordinal inscribed was?
No, I don't. I don't really know too much about ordinals, but I'm not sure what their first one is. But I know that he saw this one, and it was like of a cat literally like chained up. It's so funny, but it says human society shall be enciphered, and it was the first image scribed to Ethereum in 2016.
Got it. Yeah. Well, ordinals was similar. Like the first one, it wasn't like new. So with ordinals, there was an update called the Taproot update, which like basically made it easy to do this stuff. But somebody had done it a long time ago from like a Bitcoin node, just because they're like, wait, I think you could like put a message or put something else out there, and so they did it, but like it didn't become popular until this year.
Dude, that's crazy, crazy. I didn't even know that. Like, I feel like it's just like meant to be. I don't know, you know what I mean? But it's like super cheap to transact within the Texan hash like we do, you know what I mean? So I just can't wait for more people to start adopting it and start coming into the space, and artists to create like new pixel art and all that stuff. That's why like I collected your stuff, you know what I mean? Because I'm just trying to support all like the real artists, you know what I mean? Of course there's people that are making like bringing over like the moonbirds and stuff like that, but that's gonna be a given. But the real artists that are like making real stuff, we definitely like love to support them. And if you are, you should create over here, and we will definitely support you.
That's dope. Thank you. Yeah, and just to explain kind of what my collection is, because there's like a bunch of really dope pixel artists out there, and mine is not pixel art. And I really appreciate the crazy stuff, the collections that are coming out where they have features with Nyan Cat and other like there's Scriptodes that have that too. And I'm just a big fan of Nyan Cat, but like I really love pixel artists and what they do, but mine is basically Decentraland based. We've got our wearables, and something that I learned recently is if you own a wearable, you own the IP. Like you own that item, and they didn't really explain that to us when we were publishing these items. Now, does that mean that you can download, the let's say Tall Tea by Dr. Drip, like the or Big Hoodie. Like, can you download that and then go publish it again? I'm not sure because I think they've got something where you're not supposed to publish things that were already published. But do you own the rights, like to photograph that and put it on something? I've been explained that yes, you do. So mine is like really crunched down, reduced screenshots of some different outfits and also some different avatars. I featured some of my friends, Nikki and M, in them. And then we've got someone in the audience, Scott Moore, who has some different like tutorial sessions and workshops. One of his workshops, he taught us how to basically record video in front of a green screen in Decentraland to make custom GIFs. A lot of us were then turning those into Discord animated GIFs, and that's the same exact process for making this pixel art sized stuff that you could use on for ordinals or inscriptions. So I took a few of those and made a collection based around it. I just wanted to be early. You've got the amazing collections like MF Pers and Scriptodes and Hypocrites. And my inscription collection actually has lower inscription numbers than all of those. They're like sub 300K, just because I wanted to be quick and early. But it hasn't taken off because it's not true pixel art, and I respect that and love that. But yeah, that's my
Awesome, man. So
my
that
take on it.
that's like CCO, pretty much is what it's called, right?
Sort of in a way, but it's still generated art that I'm just crunching down.
Cool, man. Yeah, awesome. And I love stuff like that where you can like the creator lets you go and use it. Obviously I can't describe it again, but I wouldn't. But yeah, like these MF Pers are CCO'd as well, so everything is open source. The GitHub from Virtual Alaska is available for anybody to use. That's what I use. I use like the rainbow. This is called the Mayhem Rainbow from Chris Nyan, and it's open source on that GitHub. So if you wanted to use just the rainbow on some other stuff, like you can, guys. We encourage it, and we love to see everybody using our stuff.
I think it was Virtual Alaska that I think he sent me a GitHub for a free mint, and I wanted to do something with it. But just the word free mint terrifies people, and I know a lot of people don't know what inscriptions are yet. But I think
Bro,
using
this
cheap
MF Per was a
Ethereum
free mint.
L1 based tokens is going to be useful.
Hell yeah, dude! Like, don't let it scare you. Like this MF Per was a free mint. Like how Virtual Alaska dropped it. Like all you had to pay was the gas to inscribe this image onto the transaction hash or whatever. And depending on the size of the file, that's how much gas you would pay. So this one right here, I paid like, because it was a GIF animated one, I think I paid like $8 in gas to scribe this one, and then my other ones were like $1.50 to like $2.50. And yeah, man. So I didn't pay very much for these, but they're pretty dope. And I don't really like talking about like prices and stuff like that, but they're like really really shooting off. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah! And I wanted to do an ordinals workshop and an Eatscriptions workshop through Freshman. I've got a show and a platform that I still enjoy. I'm still cooking it, but we've kind of taken a backseat for a little bit. But
You should do it, man.
I would love to
Eatscriptions, and I feel like, I don't know, like, it's just in my head, we're like a giant branch of a tree. We all kind of started as the trunk, but now we're like branching out. And I see, like, I don't know, Brandon Man is doing some crazy stuff with like animation. You're into like Eatscriptions. I mean, everybody at this point of this bear market and this crazy journey, they're, everybody's like doing their own thing and like learning about their own niche area. And so if you can come back to the trunk of the tree and share that wisdom with us, I'm sure there's plenty of people in the audience that would appreciate like just trying to learn from your knowledge, because like I said, it's don't quite understand, but kind of do probably understand enough to get myself into trouble. But yeah, keep pushing, and if you do something like that, please let us know.
Nah, I second that, Drip, man, because like you just learned me, and it's like, oh man, my gears are spinning. Like it's so much I wanna, so many questions I wanna ask, but I don't even know where to start, man. So when it comes to your workshop, post them, set it up, man. We did talk previously, like a couple of days ago, but briefly, it was like in some comments or something. But man, like let's connect, man. Tap in.
Okay, hell yeah, thank you. Yeah, that excites me because I mean, you guys can see how passionate about this stuff I am. It's crazy because I'll post something and then the algo will do me so dirty, and I'll get like 150 views and like 2 likes, and it's like, damn, people they don't care about Bitcoin. They don't care about subscriptions, and it's like, so yeah, to hear you guys are interested, I'm gonna do it then. Yeah, hell yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man. I think it's just that people just don't understand. You know what I mean? Like it gets muddy when you start going into certain terms and things like that. But just being a fan of the space, I'm able to follow somewhat. But like I said, man, I think you just got to get up close and personal with this type of stuff to actually be able to understand and appreciate what you guys are actually doing.
I think maybe another thing could be like people consider Bitcoin as like digital gold. So like imagine paying for your art with a bar of gold. It's like you wouldn't want to. It's like this is my gold. I'm gonna bury it.
The craziest thing to me is that, like, so here we are, a few of us from different different avenues and different families, excited about what we're working on. And how long is it until they all cross paths and things are powered by e-scriptions and other things are powered by Bitcoin ordinals? And like, I that's why I'm so excited about the crypto technology that we're based on, and I still stay optimistic even when Decentraland has issues here and there and gets a little clunky sometimes. But like, that's why, it's because of this. I think we're on the right path, and I think these tokens will intermingle. It's still Ethereum based, like it's all still in my wallet. So yeah, I'm excited about it and where things are going.
Well, and one thing to consider is like when we crypto heads are like, oh my gosh, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense, it confuses me, I don't quite understand it, like, realize that we are like so deep into this space that like we can't, I tried talking to normies this week and like explaining what I do, and I'm like trying not to use the words like Web3 and blockchain and decentralization, like and I can't even have a conversation with somebody without, I'm like, well, it's like a VR world, and they're like, oh, headset goggles. I'm like, no, not that. And like, I mean, it just, there is so much education, or just like when you can't even have a conversation with somebody about what you do because you have to teach them a whole new vocabulary before they would understand what you're talking about. That's like, I mean, we're Drip. We're taking it. Yeah, like we're taking it like multiple layers down to the basement, even further. Of like, God, trying to explain inscriptions to normies that don't know crypto. Like, we have to give ourselves a pat on the back for how freaking far we've come, and like, kudos, good job, everybody. I don't know, like, there's no like, to my knowledge, there's no like accredited, like, well, I got my bachelor's, my master's in, blockchain tech. I mean, there's classes, there's specialization, but most of this probably is like you've taught yourself, Doc, and like it's nuts. It's like such a celebration of just freaking hardcore pioneers that just keep asking the questions and keep looking for answers. So I'm like so impressed.
That's the power of open source. So thank you if you've ever open sourced something. Thank you, people like Odd Job, Scott Moore down there. Anyone who's made a video tutorial of any kind. Like, this is we watch the generation of kids that like can teach themselves anything. They don't need to go to school, or I'm not saying they shouldn't, but like, you could still learn skills without having the means of a formal education. And that wasn't something that like our parents or our grandparents had the ability to do. And now, as we shift gears and turn into this open source based avenue for technology to thrive, it's different. And so I appreciate that. I'm only so smart. I don't have the highest IQ in the room for sure. So I just want to say, it's open source technology. Thank you, everyone who's contributed.
That's awesome. Well, IQ doesn't mean it doesn't go as far as just asking those questions. So thank you, Doctor. I would love to keep talking about this. I did see One Exist come up and Cheddar Queso. So I want to give them time to speak as well. I think One Exist, were you up first?
I'm not sure, but I'll be quick. I posted up above a couple spots back. If some of you may remember last year, I was talking about this, and it's coming around again. Metaverse Safety Week is starting on December 10th. I think it's being held in Horizons or Meta, whatever. But check it out if you're interested. Lots of different topics about staying safe in the metaverse. So, thank you.
Thank you, One Exist. Are you going to speak?
No. I'm too small, I think. I'm not sure who all they have speaking, though.
Well, I think that'll be cool. Thank you for letting us know about that. I think, yeah, it's interesting when you start looking up metaverse and the topic. There's complete organizations that are like putting forth like the metaverse, what is it, like guiding principles. Like, it's really interesting. There's a lot of people out there making rules and making code of ethics, and I don't know, like, I'd love to see more Decentraland peeps in those conversations as well, because I think that's very valid.
Well, I emailed them up last year or somebody asking how could Decentraland get involved, but nobody responded back to me. But this is put together by what is supposed to be the end all, the top metaverse professionals or experts, whatever you want to call them. They consult the metaverse standards. I forget what it is. I was talking about it all last year, but these guys advise them, and they also created, I guess it's considered now the official definition of what the metaverse is. But it's a lot of smart people, I know that. So
I just have to throw up some laughy faces because I think that's so awesome that somebody's defined the metaverse, because I don't know, I feel like that's part of the beauty, is that it is evolving always and undefinable, really. So, and I feel like the I don't know, maybe I'm just like too proud of Decentraland, but I feel like there's enough goats in this room that could speak on the metaverse, at least our little metaverse. So I would love if, you know, when those types of things happen and somebody you know, maybe self-proclaims they're like the definitive expert on a topic like the metaverse, I would love to look at what platform they use and the number of users and the amount of time that the platform has existed. Like, I would love to see like quantifiable and empirical evidence to back that claim up, because I think that there's just, it's way too diverse. It's way too, I think we we got good people here, so hopefully we'll be headlining that next year. I'm gonna vote for you, One Exist, because I know you're active last year in it, and so yeah, I don't know if they care, if they want my opinion, but I'll vote for you. I'll be like, this guy right here, bring him in. But thank you. That's
Thanks.
good to know.
You bet. I'll mention it again when we get closer, but giving people a heads up.
And you pinned it up at the top. So Meta Safety Week. Interesting. I love it. I want to know what they think about colliders on avatars. That would be a good one to see how they approach that. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I think last year I missed it, unfortunately. They did a little something on harassment. I know that's been a kind of a big issue in Decentraland last year, but I'm guessing they'll probably do that again. And safety around children is usually a big topic as well. So, oh, and something I wanted to mention too. I don't know if people were doing it before him, but Alpha Angels was, and Biometa was one of the first ones I knew that were doing the whole interacting with Decentraland via their phone. And they were doing that last year sometime.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the details on it, but I've heard of it before. A whole different slippery slope there, like accessing MetaMask from your mobile device. I don't know. That's a little scary, but hopefully they'll find ways to make it less scary. And I also want to welcome Cheddar Queso. I have to look close at your PFP. It's literally a house. Is it a cheese house? I bet it is. It cheddar cheese?
It is.
I love it. I want to live in it.
It was mid-journey. It made me a little cheesy house full of holes. I think it's so cute. I can't get over it. I still haven't switched it because I just think it's so adorable.
That is like perfect for you. Please let's make that in Decentraland for you.
I know, right? That should be it's going to be my build where you come to visit me in my metaverse world. But you guys were talking about stuff that you're excited about in Decentraland, and it's a really good conversation that you guys are having. Blessings to everybody in the community. I hope you guys all had a happy Thanksgiving weekend. And I just wanted to jump in and talk about what's making me excited right now, which is mobile. It's something that I've been screaming about for the last 2 years, ever since like my first months in Decentraland. And to see like the grants coming through in the Godot client and to see that actually being on the horizon for me is like, we better be getting ready for another bull run, because in my opinion, and maybe I'm biased like you can, like maybe I just love Decentraland too much, but so I think somebody said that Decentraland is a tool, right? And as other social media outlets and platforms, as a tool for business, Right? I gotta tell you, I ride the train from here to DC sometimes, and there's not a single person sitting in that seat that doesn't have their phone in their hand while they're riding up. If you spent Thanksgiving with your family, you know that there had to have been a moment in time where you looked around and everybody had a phone in their hand. And so to be able to put Decentraland into that aspect is to be able to put it into the hands of billions and billions of people. And I think it's really going to be disruptive. As far as how we interact with each other. And I think the other thing that is really going to be unique, for me, that is unique about Decentraland right now, that is going to catapult if we do go mobile, is events. For you to be able to attend events and enjoy art and music installations, from your mobile device, if they can tailor the sort of thing that they did for Metaverse Music Festival, with the rat race, which was a really cool experience for something like mobile. I think we better hang on to our little seats because I'm just really excited about the possibility of being able to put Decentraland in the palms, of so many people, and to have that kind of access and to be able to use it as a tool that literally has the possibility of disrupting, social media, virtual events, education, Zoom, marketplace, and all of those kind of things. I don't know. My mind explodes just at the thought of it. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you said that, Cheddar, because like I kind of said and alluded to, and I'm purposely not saying much about the ambassador interviews that I've conducted, just because that's kind of a different beat. But the number one thing that I kept hearing was mobile, like mobile, 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 and I realized like just I have my very egocentric way of looking at the world because I'm from the United States. Like I it's inevitable that I look at it through my lens, that having a computer, my dad was, we were the first people in my town to have a computer because he was really into software engineering. So like I have had a computer my whole life. Like I take it for granted that is just not something that everybody has the luxury of having. But to see so many people say that, it's like, whoa. Like I knew this was important, but we're missing the boat, I think, in a big way. And then you also look at different platforms, different like what I see on Instagram is different than Twitter because these people are accessing from a global audience um, through their mobile. And so I think 100% I underestimated it, really. Like I don't know, it's one of those things that is profound enough that my opinion has drastically changed in the last 2 weeks about mobile. Like maybe mobile, I've told you guys, like VR. I'm just going to keep mentioning VR because it's so important, but I kind of think maybe mobile is more important than VR at this point.
I mean, you're talking about the 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 rest of the world compared to the United States. It is advancing so much more in mobile payments and blockchain technology and digital assets, digital money that. Like in other countries, that is now the main form of payment, right? Because people don't have credit card machines and credit card fees and things like that, but everybody has a phone in their hand. No matter what kind of phone it is, you're able to connect to the internet through that phone. You're able to send a payment. And so you can go to third world countries, other countries, Hispanic countries, Latin America, and people are using Bitcoin instead of Western Union, right? Instead of going to Walmart, to Western Union to send money back home, a lot of immigrant populations are sending money back home straight from their phone. And a lot of people that you would not normally think that are adopting these kind of advanced technologies like digital currencies are adopting it because there's such a huge need for that mobility. And so I think that if we can put Decentraland into a phone or into an iPad, I think we're going to put it into the hands of many, 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 many people. And as a tool, it has the the potential to disrupt so much.
Oh, I totally agree. How you doing, Cheddar? And I love how you just went into like, just, about the importance of, just cryptocurrency itself. Because at the end of the day, like you said, and Nessa spoke on this too, majority of us have, prefer actually our mobile device over, the desktops and the laptops and things like that. So I think that that might be something that actually, pushes us, as far as DCL, a little further ahead too, because we don't have the mobile, and some of those other guys, they stand on being able to access their worlds mobily.
Right. Um, but Decentraland still has so many things that I just feel like other worlds haven't caught on yet. Like as far as the ability for it to be able to be used as a tool, and I don't know. I think the potential there is incredible, especially with Genesis City. I think that's like one of the unique things that Decentraland has is this one main world where everybody can sort of be in there together instead of the siloed individual worlds. That is so unique. I'm excited, but I'll let somebody else speak about their excitement.
No, I love that, Cheddar. I'm so glad you came up because you inspire me. Like your excitement, your passion, it lights my excitement. And sometimes it's bear markets are hard, and sometimes we need somebody to come through and just be like that like stoked, energetic person to keep us going. And I don't know, you're so much that person.
Oh, thanks. None of us knew what was going to happen during this bear market, too. I'm so proud of the community and what's going on. People have hunkered down. They've continued to build. I mean, listen, I don't know. Maybe I don't feel I've remained broke the entire time that I've been in Decentraland. Like I was broke before, I'm broke now. So that haven't really felt like a whole bear market because it's always been like bear for me the entire time. But I feel like I don't see the bear almost. Like I'm getting ready and I'm getting pumped for whatever's coming because you guys are doing amazing things. Look at you. You're still here. You know what I'm saying? You're still here. You're still talking about it. You're still enthusiastic. You're still building. You're still creating. The music festival was amazing. The builds were incredible. The artistry, the work that was put in, it was really great, phenomenal. Great job, everybody, And so I think that it's coming. We just have to keep doing it and keep building. And I'm really excited and proud to like be a part of the community. And it's not just Decentraland. Like we were talking about the whole interoperability and the metaverse thing, seeing each other in all these different communities that we jump from. Like if you said you go and visit these other metaverse worlds like on Cyber and stuff, and you run into fam, and you're just like, oh, you're here too, and you're here too. And it's all of us. Like we are the undergirth of all of this. And as long as we're still here and we're still working and building and doing this, what you guys are doing right now, I I don't know. I see nothing but goodness in all of it.
I love that, Cheddar, and you brought up a really important point that I think, well, it's hard to even touch on. Like you said, you've been broke the whole time, and so it's always been a bear to you. I I I I mean, I got in 2019, and Mana was 5 cents when I was buying it, and so like today, what is it right now? It's 46. Like I can't tell you guys, like for anybody else that was in at that time, like I can't even begin to express like November 2021 that was like I just can't even express to you. I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yep.
And I think that came like I didn't that's not why I came here. I didn't come. If I would have wanted
Right.
to make money, I should have kept my money
Cashed
in
out.
like Roth IRA. Never get into crypto because I got into Robinhood before I got into crypto, and then
Me
I got
too.
into like some shit coins. So yeah, like you win some and you lose some. But I wish I could clone my sentiments and just like mind meld them with you because what I think will happen here is when we have a bull run, whatever catalyst comes along, who knows, maybe it's a Bitcoin halving, maybe it's some Mark Zuckerberg's gonna buy Bitcoin, who knows, whatever it is, it's gonna probably most likely happen. And then you're gonna get a wave of new users that are like, yeah, I know about Bitcoin. My brother-in-law told me about it around Thanksgiving in 2018 and I lost my shirt. I know, they're gonna assume they're experts. But when people come in, they're going to look for coins. They're going to look for projects. They're going to go to the, coin market cap. They're going to look at the top 100. They're going to be like, all right, what is this? Like, Sol, what does this do? I don't know. I can't understand that. Neo, oh, okay, Chinese Ethereum. I don't understand that. And then they're going to get to a little place that says Decentraland Virtual Reality World. And that is going to be something that they understand. Because they
Something
might not
tangible,
understand
yep.
so many projects, but they'll be like, oh, a game, a VR game. Okay, like, oh, that's like Second Life. And they're going to click on it, and they're going to go one step further. And that's why Mana was the first altcoin I ever bought after Bitcoin, because after looking over hundreds of coins, it was one that made sense. And it's one of the only coins that I could actually actively participate in. That I can actually, I buy and sell. Like, I used to buy and sell Webkins skins because that was my first metaverse. Like, I get it. And I think that right there is a huge draw for Decentraland, is that people, like average users, won't have to work so hard to understand it. They'll just get it. It's a virtual reality world. Like, we can define it as game and a social media platform and a tool. Like, we know it's way, way more than that. But for the average person coming in, I believe, on my soapbox, my TED Talk, I believe that we will see more people come in just because our coin is a little bit easier to digest for normies than, whatever, I don't know, Bundi X or like Graph or whatever token you've got out there. Like, just the fact that they can understand it, I think will make this so much easier to bring people in. And I think in years from now in this room, we'll have hundreds of people here, not, the beautiful 30 people that you are. But that's just my TED
38
Talk.
of us.
38 of us, all of us, yeah. And they'll wonder why we say 38 and 69 and 420, why those are our favorite numbers.
No, I totally agree with you. I think that's wonderful. And I was thinking about when you were talking about what brought on like that first bull run, right? Like, what was, because for me, I think that's when I joined, right? I got in January 2022, and it's because I kept reading news and stuff about like these metaverse worlds and things like that. And so top two names were Decentraland and the Sandbox. That's what like was all over the place. And I was like, I keep hearing about these places and I have to jump in. And I finally jumped in, and I think that was when like that one little bull run was going on. What do you guys think brought that on?
Mark Zuckerberg and Meta.
Facebook.
Gotcha. Yeah, he changed the name of the company to Meta, and then the whole metaverse became like a buzzword for a minute.
That was the all-time high, I believe, right?
Yeah, I sold so much of my Mana at $1.23 because I was like, it is never going to be this high again. So I just liquidated because it was 70 cents. And then I sold at 123 and started selling my land. And then like 48 hours later, it was at like 350.
Could you sell some more Mana, maybe? I'm just saying it worked one time. Let's try it again.
Hey
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
How much is the land right now? If I wanted to buy like land on Decentraland.
Let me look. Let's see. Well, I'll just say, first of all, renting land is a really, really good way to get in. But if you're looking at the cheapest, let me see. So,
I think something that I would want to buy be like 4,000 Mana or something like that. Like for something that I would want, I think if you want something like close to a road,
well, we're going
like,
to
guys, like you guys are the real estate agents right now, and I'm looking for property. You know what I mean? Hook me up.
Okay, so the cheapest parcel, beautiful, sunny
you heard of a world?
Las Vegas, open, sweeping views. Neighbors play their music quietly. Cheapest one is 1,600 Mana. So in today's prices, that's $767 for one parcel.
Free.
That's about the price that it was when land was first put on the market, right? Like when people first started buying land.
No.
Land from the auction was, somebody could probably speak better because I was like not going to get into DCL because I missed the land auction by 2 months. And I was like, nope, I'm too late. I missed my window. I believe it was like $75 a parcel, but by
The
the time
cheapest land was $75, but as
Yeah.
HP has made clear to me, the way the auction worked was confusing because it wasn't just like buy. There was it was like you could bid on certain spots. So like some people spent a crap ton of money, but you would literally have to like pour through like an ancient CSV file to actually figure out which what parcels were super expensive versus. But 75 mana at like 5 cent mana was the like cheapest you could get in at though. Or sorry, $75 worth of 5 cent mana.
Yeah, and I think by the time I was buying in April of 2019, I believe my parcels were like $200 to $300 each, I want to say. But then there were some that were cooler because they were close to roads and we couldn't walk in the world. So I mean, the whole idea was like, oh, this is cool because you're going to be close to a road. Well, nobody freaking walks across the map. And we weren't even talking about teleporting back then because, it would be like another 10 months before I could even go into the world and see what I bought. So, yeah, not financial advice at all. Because then you walk in the world, you're like, oh, what did I do?
So this is all super super helpful information. So I need to be by a road, pretty much is what you're telling me.
No, you don't need to be
No.
by a road for what it's worth.
But I'm
Where
like,
you want to
look,
be.
like I'm if I'm
Location,
gonna like
location.
buy the first thing, I'm buying it to plan on not selling it ever. So I'm trying to buy like the best cream of the crop.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I got a budget though. You know what I mean? So like, and I like to snipe. So is there anything on the floor that's like in a nice area that's like, yo, this person's paper handing some good real estate right here?
But we're nice, but we're also sharks. So if there was some nice stuff sniped, I think we might be sniping it. What I would suggest that you look at is really the bigger than a road is if you can possibly find a 2-piece estate. To me, the value, I'd rather have a 2-piece estate in the country than one parcel by a road because you can build a lot bigger. The nice thing about a road is that it gives you a little space around your property, which is handy if your neighbor deploys something that's defective. At times you can't access your land because there might be like a green loading screen up. But for me personally, that like just the ability to have a little bit more room, because what your challenge is on a 1-piece parcel is you can only put in 10,000 triangles if you're deploying through the builder. I think with the in-world builder coming soon, probably a lot of this you're going to be, it might be like problems of the past, but that would be my suggestion. And then Sin, I saw your hand come up.
Oh, I was gonna suggest some like plots near like roads, but then I looked at the actual dollar amount and it was like $1,200. It looked good in mana terms.
Road parcels are so overpriced. You got to look for a parcel near your baby dolls, near your buffaloes, near your like high trafficked areas. Like Vegas District has some
I
pretty
would think
cheap
that is
parcels.
overpriced. I
Yeah,
think.
let's talk about overpriced though. Like, so
That was going to
I've
be
never
my
bought
next question.
a piece of land on Decentraland but I don't want to. But I'm assuming that all the prices on here are just like everywhere else in the market, where like no matter where you buy it, technically, like if you're gonna grow your bag no matter what. You know what I mean? Like right now, if you're in this space talking about whatever you're talking about, like there's no heavy traffic right now. Like there's not a lot of money flowing in. So if you're like buying stuff right now, no matter what you're in, like it's gonna go up in like the next like year or so for sure. You know what I mean?
I mean, there are no guarantees, but I mean, your logic is really sound, and I can't really argue with it. I mean, I really thought the land floor was going to go a lot lower over the bear market, and I guess it just turns out that the 80% of the land that like 20 people own, they aren't selling
There's
until
like
it's
a
worth
central
more.
part in this map that like everybody wants to be like a central hub, and like anything close to this area is like hella expensive.
Yeah, well, like anything close to 0-0, like where Genesis Plaza is, definitely the like most expensive because that's where noobs spawn. You have the greatest chance of just getting stumbled on by like any random noob who's just bolted to the east. But after that, I think it would be probably somewhere near DG properties and or near like, What do you guys call your little downtown area to the southwest?
The Stars District.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, yeah, like all of that is good, but I would definitely suggest know your neighbors. Like, I have a neighbor that hasn't built anything on their property, but their Metacoven, the person who bought the Beeple NFT for $69 million. And his plan, as of a couple years ago, is to deploy that NFT in the metaverse so that everybody can come and experience it in its digital form. And I'll just say, without saying too much, that there's things going on behind the scenes that I think that there's still building being done. So I would say, something like this, yes, probably anything you get from this point, there's a strong probability it's going to go up in value. But I'd say increase your odds a little further and research who owns land. Like, literally, like, who is the person who owns that land? Because the little crappy spot that I could afford 5 years ago ended up being next to Metacoven. It wasn't when I bought it. It was next to Barry Silbert, which is also, a good neighbor to have. But I would say, like, I mean, if you're looking for resale, but if you're not looking for resale, then find us, go walk around the map, find neighbors you like. You could buy a, really small landlocked parcel and have a really bad experience. Like, if you can't even see much around you, I don't know. But
Got it. I see.
yeah,
Thanks for
to
that.
me, it's neighbors.
If you're
It's
ever
nice.
shopping, an important thing to know about buying land, because if you're ever on OpenSea looking at it, everything in the Theria district, like, they'll sell deeds to that land, but that isn't actually land ownership. Like, you won't get the VP of that land, and, like, technically, like, they have it coded so, like, they could take that land back from you since they did that when someone had their land
where
stolen.
I was about to say, I was about to go on OpenSea. So where am I supposed to be buying this stuff?
Yeah, it's the same category, but the blue background means it's a deed. So yeah, it's better.
It has like a
better going
pretty.
with
They're
that.
better looking images. I feel like they put a little more effort into their JPEG. So if it looks cool and has like a hexagonally kind of shape into the background, that's a Theria district, and don't buy it.
Is it better to just go on Marketplace and just make offers on Marketplace?
The safest place to buy Decentraland land is on the Decentraland marketplace. But even so, once you go to buy it there, take that listing, take that parcel, go look it up on OpenSea, because you might buy a parcel that has been flagged as a stolen good on OpenSea, and that doesn't affect its ability to be bought. Decentraland doesn't have a problem buying and selling potentially stolen goods yet, so that's no problem. But on OpenSea it is. And so even if, like, I bought a parcel that was not flagged and then now it is. So somewhere along the line somebody decided to, make a complaint, and it wasn't even the one that I, like the Stars District fiasco. Yeah.
It's not even the one that was for sure stolen.
Yeah, which I also did not know.
Can I put bids on the marketplace?
Pretty sus.
Yeah, you can put bids in on the DCL marketplace.
Okay, bet, because you already know, I'm sure the game is still the same as far as like mentally, the way that you play it, and Christmas is coming, and I'm putting in these low offers, nice land, because they're gonna start selling.
Right.
They're gonna need liquidity pretty soon.
Right.
So the last thing to note is, I guess, with buying land, it's if you're doing it on the marketplace, you do need Ethereum based mana, whereas like wearables is like Polygon based mana. But like the thing I wanted to bring up, I'm sorry you guys, I'm gonna get kicked off the real estate team right now, but and none of this is financial advice, but like, if someone were checking out the metaverse and like wanted to jump in but like didn't want to commit to hundreds of dollars, like we could talk about names, because you could buy basically, if you bought your .eth name or your .sats name on Bitcoin, or your ENS domain, right? Like, we all have a bunch of ENS domains. Well, this is like a subdomain of Decentraland's ENS domain, and they're like selling them for 100 mana, which is currently equivalent to under $50. So you register your name, right? Like your screen name, because you don't want someone else to use it in game, right? So with each name that you get like basically a private server. so it's not in the grand metaverse, but you could still transfer to it, like teleport to it, and when you get there, you could still see other people. It kind of turns into like kind of similar to like an on cyber or like Hyperfi, where like it's its own little lobby, it's its own room. So if that supports what you're trying to do, it's not so much as a hot real estate investment, but like there's kind of perks. Like if I wanted to do my inscriptions workshop, and I did it in a worlds, they call it, like in my own private server, well then I could have a bigger parcel, and I could have a bigger space, and I can make a coliseum or an auditorium. The only thing is people aren't going to wander to it. They're going to need to know about it. So as long as I don't mind doing the extra marketing for my event, well then that would have been a way better choice anyways. Or if I wanted it in the main world so that people could stumble upon it, well then I could just go find someone and rent a parcel for really cheap, for like a matter of days or a week or two, just to get my event done. And that's actually built into the Decentraland marketplace, that renting system, which is really cool that they have that.
The way I like
Speaking,
to think of that is that you can buy, it's like buying land in the city versus in the country. Like the benefit of being out in the wilderness, the country, like a rural area, is you get a lot of land, but you generally don't get many people coming just like strolling through. But if you live right in the city, you have people, people walking by all the time, but you can only afford a little bit. So it's kind of like, I don't know, when I kind of broke it down like that, it was like, yeah, sometimes I want to have a big open space in the country, but sometimes I would rather be connected close by. But yeah, I think Drip, we're not kicking you off the real estate team because it's a benefit to have like multiple ways to get to the same outcome, to have land to build on. And I strongly advise like rent land first on the parcel size that you think you're going to build on. Like if you're not interested in like a DCL world for your name, rent one parcel for a week. It costs you 7 mana, and 7 times 4, it's like the price of a cup of coffee. You would have the experience of knowing, okay, I can't build shit here, because I think that, right, like for people getting started, if they're not deploying through the SDK, it's a painful experience that you don't want to be buying land for like $1,000 and thinking you're going to build something dope, and then you get to your parcel and you're like, oh, now I hate the word triangle for the rest of my life because I can't build.
well,
But
you
if you
can use the builder tool before you even buy a parcel. You can experience all the suffering of building a DCL for free.
True.
But the
Is
reason
it
I actually come
now,
up,
is
Dr.
it a
Drip had
thing now?
mentioned, I really want to show something real quick, because Dr. Drip had mentioned Hyperfi and OnCyber, and the whole reason I came up here was to show the Vipes starting tomorrow at like 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're doing this crazy deal where like for the cost of one Hyperfi world, that's how much you'll cost to buy like 6 Vipe, and then you'll get an OnCyber space, a Hyperfi world, an Upstreet deed, whatever a Voidage module is, and a Nifty Island NFT. And I just think like anyone who's like thinking about like, oh, I kind of want to get into the metaverse, like I know this is a good deal because I'm mad at the team for doing it after I already like spent my allotted budget on this project. I'm like, what? You're just gonna give away all the things I want?
Not to
So you guys
mention,
can
it is a pretty valuable deal. But not to mention, I think they're doing some Black Friday thing where like currently they rolled back the mint price to like
That doesn't start until tomorrow. Starting
Okay.
tomorrow, it'll be I forgot that. I guess I forgot that part. Like right now, and most of the ones I minted 0.03. Starting on Monday for I believe it's for 72 hours, or I think it's 48 hours. For 2 days, you can mint for 0.015. And
Is that Vipes?
Yeah, Vipes.
Okay.
I don't know how many Vipes you have, but you should get 6 of them tomorrow.
I definitely do not have a buying problem, and definitely don't have an addictive personality, so I definitely don't have like 15 Vipes.
Right, but already they hurt us. The disrespect, because I'm like, I mean, I get it. They can't just be giving away money to us, but I'm like,
So, but has somebody found that last legendary?
There's still 2 legendaries
There's still 2 left. Yeah.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
The pink and
there's still pink and crimson.
Yeah,
because
Crimson is the best. Crimson's so pretty.
I definitely don't need that pink-haired one. Nope.
Oh, CK is going crazy.
There's such a that one's like
we're like fighting for it.
There will be
Speaking of
tears when that's
worlds,
drawn.
we have now the ability in Decentraland where worlds are being featured on the main events page, right?
Not necessarily.
You have. Oh, hey Scott. I'm
I
gonna
thought
let
we
Scott
passed
talk.
that.
Welcome, Scott. You know that one pretty well, don't you?
I was just gonna I'll
Yeah, I
answer.
thought we finally
I'll
passed
answer
one
that.
that allowed worlds to be featured on the main events page.
Yeah, and
It takes.
Cheddar. I'm not sure if you hear Scott. I think maybe
Can you hear me?
maybe his
I can hear Scott.
I'm out walking my dog, so I'm probably don't have the best network connection. Can you hear me
You
now?
sound beautiful.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay. Can you hear me, Canessa? You give
Yep,
me a
loud
thumbs
and
up.
clear.
Okay. Well, first I want to just tell MF Hers that if you go to my my media section for my X account, I've got a number of they're called Quick Tips with AJ, and I go through the rental process, including authorizing a Decentraland smart contract to to make purchases and to make rentals on your behalf. So there's a few steps that aren't necessarily mentioned in the documentation. So definitely go and check that out. But for the decentral education events that Kanessa and I have been holding, we want to use the land that we've got under the Decentraland name. And the problem is that there's we don't own any land. So the current documentation, the current, I guess, legal structure is, in order to be able to have your event appear on the events page and you do not own land, you have to rent land. But that rental of that land has to be like within the servers. I don't know. It takes a while for it to update, right? So it's database information that has to be updated because one of our more recent events, I tried to get listed, where you can just link directly to the world through filing an event, but it's not there. It doesn't get listed if it's not within the Decentraland database. So if you're planning an event and you want it to be listed on the events page, you'll need to have a little bit of leeway, right? You're not going to be able to do it and turn around in the next couple of days. You may want to give it a week or maybe even a month, like do a test run and make sure that your world gets listed in the drop-down menu, because you can't just populate it and put in coordinates. It has to be something that exists in the drop-down menu, and that gets pulled from a database somewhere. I never really got a sufficient answer from I don't know, whatever that tech help thing is that they're using now, but it's definitely doable. It just takes a little extra time, and it takes a little monkeying around because not a whole lot of people have done it. I mean, we went through that process just to see what it was like, and maybe it's gotten better. I haven't set up an event in the last few weeks, so I'll try it again and report back to you guys.
I
And Scott,
swear
didn't
there was
we-
a recent governance proposal passed to like get rid of that stupid compromise, because like that was the like only landowners or renters could have world's events on the events page was like.
Yeah, the community's like not for that.
But I'm like 99%
Largely
sure
against
like
it.
3 stages of governance passed to like make it so that anyone could do that. They probably just haven't like gotten around to implementing
Yeah,
that
I was just
yet.
going to say, just because it's passed through governance doesn't mean it's been implemented
Yeah.
from
Oh
the
yeah, but it
from
just
the
means we
server
need to
side.
like pressure them and be whine
well, and
about it. They'll get to
I
it.
think we also found maybe a loophole because, right, Scott, we did it. We rented land to ourselves so that we could host the event,
Yep.
and it was like a week-long rental contract. And then when that was done, we still have access. So until anything is done, that's a go around.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Decentraland
No, exactly.
people will listen to this, but
it cost me 7 mana to rent my own land for myself under the Decentral Ed account, and then being able to, because I wanted to list it, through Decentral Education account, because that's the entity that, that's hosting the event. Vanessa and I are doing it through Decentraland. But yeah, it's still there. I mean, I haven't checked it today, but yeah, we rented it once, and now it's listed in the drop-down menu. So maybe you only got to do it once, and you only got to pay as much as 7 mana. So I guess try it out.
Insert like
Thank you,
shoosh.
Scott.
How you guys know?
Hey guys, my service is like really bad, so it keeps dropping me in and out. But thank you so much for the space. I'm gonna go down as a listener, and I just have one more question before I do drop down because I know that you said that you could walk around. Are there avatars? One, and then second, can you input an avatar? Because I would like to see if I can make my MF purge walk around in Decentraland because we have like sprites, sheets.
Yes and yes.
Oh, really?
Not through sprite sheets, but yeah, I mean just through creating wearables and through creating skins. There's a whole slew of documentation and videos that people in the audience and others have created to generate full-fledged avatars. Based on it's basically the default Unity avatar skeleton. If you're familiar at all with that, but yeah, if you wanted to create, one of your PFPs as a full-fledged character, there are other PFP projects that have done that. There's a number of ways to do it. The easiest way is to just create a skin, which means it's head to toe wearable that would utilize the the base avatar through Decentraland. You send it to the curation committee. Once it got approved, then you can have it be a unique, meaning only one person owns it. You could have it be a mythic, which is a rarity of 10, or you could have as many as 100,000, or you could even make it free, right?
No way.
So it's up
So
to
I
you.
could.
What kind?
Hell yeah, dude! That's so cool. I'm gonna make if I'm able to do this. How you're telling me like the skin. How does the
Yeah.
skin look? Like you could. I've never been on Decentraland, so I don't know.
However you want it to look.
Like literally, I
However
could
you-
make it look like because there's a walking one, and
I mean, it has to be somewhat.
It
human.
covers your whole body.
no way. So it could
As
like
long as-
you could literally like let's say like it's like a fucking costume. Like you could just be.
Yeah, you could put on a whole astronaut suit if you want to, or you can dress. I have a T-Rex one, and I have a
Unicorn.
And I
Yeah.
could make multiples for people to get them for free.
yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's then
I think the highest number is 100,000.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if I would
100,000.
do
Yeah,
that,
that's the
but
uncommon.
that much. But they can all be free. And what would people just pay like gas and mana, or how does that?
Polygon mana. Yep.
Polygon mana?
So that's like 2 or 3 cents. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if it's free, yeah, then they'd have to switch over to the Polygon and then pay the Polygon gas, but it's uber cheap.
Okay. So if it's free, it's on Polygon. Is there any free like on Ethereum? Sometimes like let's say for like an Ethereum map.
No, they're all on Polygon,
Kyle.
but in order for you to like get it for free, in order for you to buy stuff on the marketplace, the minimum price that you have to pay is 1 mana. So if you want to get anything for under 1 mana or free, then you'd have to switch over to Polygon and pay the Polygon.
Okay.
But all the wearables are on Polygon.
Okay. All right. So I mean, so I'll probably just do 1 mana, and then like let's say if I could probably just set it up to where like I don't know how much is 1 mana right now. It's like
40
40
cents.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
You also have to
So
pay a
MF
submission fee to the curation committee, which is $100.
Okay.
In
All right.
in mana. Yeah.
That's cool.
So
I would like to do that just
Yeah.
to like probably just try to migrate more people from my collection over here, you know what I mean, and just to like be like, hey, you guys you can have like a skin, an MF per skin or something like that. There's another person that made that made the MF Pers ENS, and they allowed everybody to do subdomains, like for free. You just had to do it. So I want to do the same thing for us, but on Decentraland. So that's cool that I could do the skins, man, and they could be either free and I could do as much as I want.
Yeah,
that's cool.
If you do it for 1 mana too, like you'll probably be able to pay back the curation fee
Eventually,
within your sales. Yeah, eventually, because 1 mana is pretty cheap.
Right.
So I imagine that you'll have a higher number of sales, if the cheaper you make it.
Right.
I want to point out something real quick. Like, so it's a matter of there are some 3D projects, like some 3D PFP projects, like Artifact Clone X, like a kid
God
called
Save Girls,
Beast,
Woodies.
Vipe, and they give you 3D models like ready to go in some cases. Artifact, you kind of got to put them together. But when you have 3D models like that, I think Pudgy Penguins has an app that does it too. Oh shoot! I'm supposed to hit up Spotty. Okay, sorry, tangent. Okay, so if you have the 3D models, then it's a lot easier of a process, but it's still a matter of like hiring a 3D artist to kind of decimate it and put it together. If you just have a 2D PFP, then it's kind of like making a version, like hiring a 3D artist to make an interpretation of it. And I just wanted to point out there's some projects that you probably know of. Well, you definitely do. You know the on MF Pers the Neon's glasses, and I say it like that
Yeah.
because
The
they're the
nouns.
Neon Cat and the Noun's glasses put together. Well, dude, there's Neon glasses in Decentraland, and I this is fun because there's not many people that they're not super rare. There's like 5,000 of them, but like there was some event that they had to get those out, and so I think there's only one person that bought them. I think Meta DJ, someone listed him for 95 mana. He scooped it. I've never seen him since, but I paid 95 mana for the other one in the collection, which is a top head UFO. If you guys ever see me wearing it, and it's the reason I bring those up is they're like the UFO is 2D based. It's like kind of this 3D little it's like a kind of a flat thing that hangs above your head. And so like there's ways that you can implement 2D based things that still kind of have a 2D impression in a 3D space, or you could do the full 3D interpretation and turn your MF Per into like a straight up 3D cartoon.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Like on my, so there's a person, because this is all open source. There's like no owners of these or whatever. So like everybody is just like making stuff for free or whatever. So there's this guy that made the sprite like move. You can make him move like with your on your keyboard, left, right, up, down, and I have it on my webpage or whatever. And so I don't know how he did that, right? But I know there's a way. So I don't know, and I don't know how the avatars move on the Decentraland. You're saying that it's 3D model based. So in my head, I'm thinking the Decentraland is like pixel looking stuff. You know what I mean?
So if you look down at some of the people here, like Agnes has her avatar in her picture, Dixon, Master Galap. Actually, probably not enough of us have our avatars. We've moved on to PFPs. But that kind of gives you an idea of what it look like. It also is worth noting that you don't just have to publish a skin that covers the entire shape of the avatar. We have different categories like glasses, neck, like accessories, a shirt, pants, shoes, something that hovers above your head, a tiara. If you want like hand knuckles, we've done
The
that.
possibilities are endless.
They are. And then we were talking about it earlier. Then you can export your entire avatar as a VRM and then take that into other metaverses.
And probably into Blender too, right?
Yeah, I think Blender, which then means you could probably put it into a STL file and like 3D print your avatar. That's on my list of things to do. So the possibilities, I think, just probably the best thing, come in world, see what the avatars look like. Also, like you were talking about motion, and like a lot of us make emotes. Like I make emotes, and that's little dances or motions that the avatars can do. Like right now I'm doing the back float, and like you animate that and then you can sell that as an NFT also. So there's a lot. There's a lot to, once you start diving in, just welcome to the rabbit hole. Keep diving.
Oh yeah, I already know. Like, and
I'm here never leave now. There's no turning back.
I'm here for
No,
it, guys.
That's such a good point about publishing parts. okay, so I just published some of my Clone X wearables, and I did a helmet, which is just like the entire face. And then I took the horns off, right? Like one attribute, and I made that like a top head. So now you could add that to like a regular Decentraland avatar, and they could be like, yo, I'm rocking the artifact horns attribute. And the reason, I sold them as mythics so that a few people could try it out, only 10 people for each one. And I priced them higher because of what I was talking about earlier. Like, you could take that IP out and go wear it in pictures and in other places and utilize it more. So like IP like this, being the first to drop clone horns in the metaverse, like of course I'm gonna drop it a bit higher. So like you could do a full cat. You could just take. I'm looking at your PFP. You've got the cowboy hat with the cat ears coming through. Like that hasn't been done yet, right? Like you could just sell some cowboy hats with cat ears on them, and that's your thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
I just wanted to
I'm
touch on what
getting like
Connecta
so
mentioned.
much. Yeah, I'm getting so much ideas from you guys. This is like so dope, and I'm more so my intentions with it is more so to make it super, super, super affordable, almost free. You know what I mean? Like I want people to just like if they like it and they can afford it, like get it. You know what I mean? And then you were telling me that they dropped like the Nions and like imagine if I like was able to put them on. You know what I mean? And then it's like an official. You know what I mean? Like MFR with the Nions, that'd be so cool. So yeah, man. I'm getting a lot of great ideas. I'm gonna go talk to Virtual Alaska, which was the artist behind this, and Ariana. She was also the artist behind this. And I'm gonna try to see if we can come up with like one version, or I don't know if they would want to do all the colors or just one color cat, but we'll see what's up, and we can make it like a pixelated 3D one and just to keep the pixel vibes going, maybe we have one. Yo, like you said, the Nion's glasses. Maybe we could do like the rainbow moving behind. You know what I mean? And it's like just so cool.
You
Not
also
to
might want to talk to PR Guitar Man from Nyan Cat, because I believe they passed a Link wearable proposal
yes.
a long time ago, and then ran into some challenges. But I'm thinking that they're still working on that. Do you know, Scott?
Oh, what kind
Um,
of challenges? Like IP challenges or?
Technical challenges. I
Creating
didn't
ten
mention.
thousand things.
Yeah, I didn't mention the linked wearables to you, M first, just because it's a level of complexity, to the 10th degree or more. But I linked up in the crow's nest an article that I wrote probably about a year ago about linked wearables, where it goes into a deeper discussion about the different methods of representing your profile picture NFT project in Decentraland. So there's the skin, like I talked to you about at the very beginning when we were talking about this. There is linked wearables like what Nyan Cat is doing. There's also another kind of local boy made good, Aaron Loop, who's got the Waifuman profile picture project, and he's been working on a linked wearable project for a number of years now. But that should be coming out soon. Dolce & Gabbana was the first profile picture project that created a linked wearable inside Decentraland. I hold two Woodies NFTs that are profile pictures. Actually, the little profile picture I've got on X right now is one of my Woodies with a flower in his hair. So if I go into Decentraland, I just go to the linked wearable section of my backpack, and I can be that character inside Decentraland. And they were the first, I'd say, native 2D profile picture NFT project that had a linked wearable inside Decentraland at scale. I think they have close to, you'll have to read the article. I don't remember the numbers. Maybe Jared does, but it's like 10,000 unique, profile pictures that you can be the 3D entities inside Decentraland.
That's cool as fuck, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, solid questions. I think the metaverse will go on to be discovered by NFT enjoyers and ETH scribers, for their IP that they've collected, their bag that they've grown. Like, what's the next step? it's utilizing the IP that you've fallen in love with and had to be pried from your cold dead hands that you still haven't let go of yet. It's like especially once VRM technology takes off and what they're doing with VR, once that all connects. And again, I like to speculate about this stuff, so you can call me Dr. Speculate right now. But once it all connects and comes together, like it's just going to be unstoppable, like I think that's going to be the next step on this quest of what we've been doing, is using the IP that we've gotten. And there's going to be more tools coming out that are going to make it easier. Right now we're kind of just paving the way and working with what we've got. I know we've got Decentraland, like the official foundation, that are like making moves, like what Cheddar Queso was talking about, by using a Godot client to make a mobile version. That's going to be insane. We've already got the VRM machine pumped out. We didn't see that coming. And then we've also got a grant system that's working to bring together some talent. We've got devs out here that are actually putting together grants and getting paid to create other systems that maybe the foundation can't do or don't have the time to. Shout out to Last Slice Collective. I'm a part of that team, and we actually just got a couple months ago got started on making an in-world builder for Decentraland. Hyperfi, some of these other really great worlds let you just go in there and click around, and all of a sudden you have a sick world built. And Decentraland doesn't have that. You can't do it from inside the world. You got to do it from the website's builder, which is clunky, and you don't have like full blockchain technology. You can't do token gates and like crazy things that you could do using that builder like you could using the actual coding. So good luck hiring a programmer if you don't have a big budget for that. And with this grant, they're trying to change all that so that you don't need any of those like archaic kind of, like, not saying programmers will lose their job, but like we shouldn't be doing all this. Like today we have tools that have evolved, like SaaS platforms, like WordPress, like things that make making a website so much easier, when back in 1999 we were opening up Notepad and coding by hand. So like things will continue to get better, and when we're watching it happen. But yeah, I remain optimistic about
I
Decentraland.
couldn't agree more. I think that those in-world tools that are being built, especially when mobile comes along, when you can do the Minecraft type of deal where you can sit on your phone and put together your own world or something like that, it's going to be absolutely incredible. And I think there's still going to be a need for developers and programmers, but in the same way that you're able to go to Wix or to Squarespace and drag and drop and set up a website, is the same way that you should be able to go ahead and set up your virtual space in a virtual world in a few hours, depending on how complex it is. I can't wait until the Vite VRMs mint out, because I believe that they have a linked wearables project looking maybe like a plan, right, to submit for linked wearables in Decentraland. And I think it's going to be insane when those particular avatars are available in our world. They're really awesome.
I have a question, because Dr. Drip had mentioned the VRM machine, like in DCL, you can like produce your own VRMs. And I think earlier he had also mentioned how the IP, like if you buy a wearable, like the terms of use in Decentraland say that like you have ownership of that wearable's IP. And the thing I've been really battling with, I want to do it, but I also don't want to do it because I feel like an absolute douchebag, is like, for example, the Lab Rat wearable, like that whole collection you get from doing all those levels, makes like a perfect, flawless, beautiful skin. You can export that VRM. It looks gorgeous in Monaverse. I'm pretty sure, based on my understanding of the terms of use, I would be fully within my right to take that VRM and sell it in the Monaverse marketplace. And technically you could do that with literally any artist's wearables. Personally, I still feel dirty about it regardless, but I would only want to do it with a foundation released IP.
In theory, I mean, remember the Coca-Cola shirts or the Atari shirts from a long time ago, like couldn't, so does that mean that we could wear that Coca-Cola shirt, make a VRM, and I mean, I don't know, how do we do that? How do we get around that? That doesn't seem...
So you can do it until until the owner of the IP tells you to stop doing
But
it.
no,
I
they
mean,
can't. But if you go to section 12.4 of Decentraland's terms of use, it like expressly states that like by submitting wearables into the system, you are waiving rights and owner. You are giving purchasers and receivers. If you give that wearable away, even because I asked this question in the RFIs and the DAO, any like if they earn it in a game, like they are the terms of use
Right.
make it very clear that the IP rights of that wearable are being transferred.
Right. Like
I mean,
if you buy the NFT in the marketplace and now you own this wearable because you purchased it from the creator, you now own the rights to that wearable. And I'm guessing that maybe because the laws haven't been created around this, that you technically could take it somewhere else. But then this ecosystem is also centered around and run around reputation and ethics. So, you could, but then it would be unethical. And why would you want to do that?
Well,
you
I mean,
try
I
it
think anyone who knows
and
me
then
knows
see if you
exactly
get
why I'd want to
sued.
sell the Foundation's IP. Well, and the thing I've thought about this though, because I put a lot of thought into this. You could only, I don't believe there's anywhere where the Foundation gives you the right to use the generic based Decentraland avatar. So like, you could only do it with things like the rat, which replaces the head and absolutely everything. Or like, for example, like you could put like the Rustan's alien helmet on something. I would obviously never do something like this to Rustan or to like a Nikki skin who also has like great things. Honestly, the other thing I'm eyeballing for this experiment is the Adidas hoodie they released during Metaverse Fashion Week, since it like replaces the head.
Right. Do I own the rights to my hoodie? Can I do whatever I want with it?
You,
I
yeah,
think
you
I think
do.
trademarks might be a little bit different though, and I stayed quiet this whole time because what Jared's reading is that's what we're talking about, and like a lot of us creators didn't know that beforehand, and we'd be like, oh, if somebody wants my GLBs, I don't want to send it to them. It's like, dude,
It's
we
theirs,
didn't
buddy.
realize that they
Right.
technically already own it. But when it comes to the Coca-Cola shirt, with that IP that they have as a registered trademark, and you've heard of these brands that are like, oh, so and so registered their brand for metaverse use. Like, what does that mean? I'm pretty sure that means that they can just send you a cease and desist before they sue your ass, because you're trying to sell something with their Coca-Cola logo on it. And then the last thing I want to bring up is I'm pretty sure that, so if this is a Wild West about this conversation, well, then there's
Mhm.
another side to it, which is, so like I said, Decentraland has terms where you can't you can't do the same exact item that someone else made. That's why sometimes if you're doing a Santa hat and there's already a bunch of Santa hats, yours better look different. It better not be the exact same Santa hat that someone else already did, because like that's just how their curation is set up. They're not supposed to do exact duplicates. It doesn't mean you're not welcome to make a Santa hat. It just means it's the exact exact GLB. So with that being said, if Mona doesn't have that kind of curation process, which Mona, I couldn't. I tried to get my clone VRM, my modified clone VRM on there, and it didn't get it. Like, you can upload it and use it from there, but it wasn't approved. I mean, so I would just say good luck getting something approved on Mona. But if that's the example, then I think that those platforms also have their own curation instructions, so they may or may not allow you to put a Coca-Cola shirt up there.
The
So
founder
Jared,
follows
like,
me on Twitter. I'll DM him. I'll see what I'll beg him to let me make my public scene with.
It's
I wouldn't go with
interesting to
Coca-Cola or
see.
Adidas. I would go with Foundation IP. The rat it is.
It's interesting to see how other metaverse worlds curation processes compare to Decentraland, and that was pretty cool. I like it. I thought the wearables were pretty dope, and the game was pretty insane.
Shout
I
out
thought
to
it was
someone
one of the
named
better experiences.
Thomas. That's who I'm told made the rat. Because when I asked Nikki the hypotheticals, I was like, Nikki, if I was to do this, would you hate me? She was like, don't do that to Thomas. I'm like, Thomas doesn't own it. He did great work. He should be honored that I think it's good enough to make a public display with. But she didn't see it like that. But shout out to Thomas, very talented person. Not exactly sure who Thomas is, but
I'm the
Yeah, poor
rat.
Thomas.
I was gonna
Jared,
say to MF Pers, just to finish up with the PFP project. There's a couple of other properties that are, of the same scale, I'm guessing, as the MF Pers and organization. So there's the God Save Girls, There's the nudies. And then there's individual Bored Ape Yacht Club, Basie owners. So they created one-of-one skins of their Bored Apes in Decentraland, and those are like super old school. Those are at least 2 or more years older. But I would definitely check out the nudies. So those are hairless cats. Not people nudes, but nude cats. They've got some land in Decentraland. The Gossip Girls also have some land, and then there's Metagami Mall. They've got a pretty huge facility. They do a lot of collaborations with other properties in Decentraland, but they've got what's called the Meta Doge. So they had a whole pixelated 2D PFP project, and then they created a 3D version. So you go onto their parcel, and then you can swap out your avatar on their estate for the little, I think it's called the mini Doge. So you can be one of the profile picture 3D profile pictures, but only on their property. So that's something else that you could look at doing, when you finally do get your own parcel, and you have somebody that is a savvy enough coder to do the avatar replacement. So somebody could be, the profile picture artwork, at least on the parcel, and they wouldn't have to spend anything. Just wanted to mention that.
And one thing that I was going to bring up with that talk about like PFP projects, I mean, remember like early last year, there was something like with Twitter, I don't know, Elon was going to shut Twitter down for a while. Like that was the fear. And it just made me realize like so many of us, like Twitter is the place for your PFP. Like this is where it lives. If you've got an ape, this is where you're flexing. If you got the flex flock or the clone or the beast, like this is it. This is like up until recently, this has been the most utility that your PFP can have. But imagine if you could step into a 3D world and actually like be your PFP. Or like what if Elon shut Twitter down, and then where are you going to rock that? So just I think that is so underutilized that like if you, I mean, like look at the other side. I mean, there's an entire metaverse world getting built around the idea that you're going to go in world and be your PFP. So I think that the more brands that realize that and kind of capitalize on that's gonna, there's just gonna be more and more PFPs walking around. And then I had a question for Drip because you have your brand, like the doctor. I have your the Fidgetal, the actual sweater or sweatshirt, which was really handy like 2 weeks ago when I met Scott at the airport, because I didn't have to tell him what I looked like. I knew that he'd just walk around and find the only person with a rainbow Dr. Drip hoodie. So kudos, that was awesome. I had to choose between the DG or the Drip or the Decentraland logo, but I went with the Drip. But my question, so like that's your brand, is there any fear of like putting your brand on these wearables with like Wild West copyright protection, and then I don't know, just like even putting your clone onto like wearables? Like I'm just wondering, is there something that could backfire?
Esteban now has the rights to do whatever he wants with your clone whenever he wants.
No, I love that question. No, I really do. And I got my logo Metaverse trademarked earlier this year. So I didn't even know what it meant. Like I said, I heard of other companies doing it. It's literally like you just select a category and it's a special category for it. So no, I'm not too worried about that. I'm kind of excited. I've gotten more promotion out of it for my Web2 brand without people even realizing it, because they're so excited about the Web3 stuff that I'm doing. So it's going to be funny when those two worlds merge and people realize, like, can you imagine just being like, you have a car and you bought some underglow for it and you're really in love with it, and then the metaverse happens and you jump in and you're like, yo, Dr. Drip is big in the metaverse. It's like, you're going to be so team Dr. Drip, not to mention the 97,000 cucumbers that I airdropped to all the holders of blue chips, like anyone who had a Bored Ape, anyone who had a Sandbox Land, Decentraland name, Decentraland Land, like I really, it was out of control.
And has ever checked their hidden folder, unfortunately.
The hated
It got
blockers.
delisted, right?
Anybody
Right.
that letter E or A in their name got some cucumbers.
Right. So in terms of my brand, I'm not too worried about it. And then in terms of like the clone, so this is something I discussed with Rustan, because Rustan, you guys know, does amazing 3D work, and he played with his clone. He modified it and posted a clone head before I did. And so I think that, I mean, it is touchy. It is, because people will have some sort of the IP. They'll be able to wear, you know, the clone head and to do different things with it. And maybe I'll go into Fortnite and I'll run up and at some point there'll be VRM integration, and I'll see one of my early holders, one of the 10 people that bought this clone head, and they're using it in that form that I, you know, technically sub-licensed in a non-commercial way. So yeah, it was weird knowing that people would have some sort of access to my clone, but then I realized that that's my clone. I get to do that, and when I'm the first one to do that, or one of the first ones to, you know, exercise my IP in the metaverse, then other people will see what it's capable of. And I don't know. I don't think that I'll go on to regret that, unless what, like, one of my biggest enemies like buys my clone and just destroys my life. But I don't think I have any enemies.
Out of curiosity, because I've thought about this since I've put my PFP I made PFPs out of my PFP and sold them. So like technically, I don't know. I feel like, can you not sell your clone now? Because like, you know, because you sold, $100 worth of wearables in Decentraland based on it.
So yeah, so I think there's something to it. I think if let's say I were to sell it now, which by the way, I modified
That
it.
you can carry over.
I couldn't post it with the Clone X logo on the hoodie. Like, there's rules to being an artifact creator. They like, you have to join before you kind of get full clearance for that. And I guess that's something I should point out that I did do. So yeah, I couldn't post it in its exact form, and I also had to notate that it was modified. So from there, if I sold this clone, this PFP, I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure someone could, cease and desist letter come after me if they so chose, but I'm pretty sure I would need to relinquish the sales at that point. So let's say that I only sold half of the stock and there's still 5 to be minted. I'm pretty sure that at that point I would hand over the beneficiary address so that they get the remainder 5 sales. Or let's say they're all minted out, it's done, and there's 2.5% secondary market sales that I'm getting. By selling it, I would then go put their ETH address as that beneficiary so they get on. Yeah,
Fair enough.
My AirPods just died. But yeah, so that's what it would
Perfect
be. It would
timing,
be a matter of transferring it, just like when you sell it, you need to remove it from your profile. You can no longer use it. You can no longer sell those items. It doesn't mean you need to return the funds. But one thing that I've thought about in the past is, what if I, took the funds from these and just saved them in a wallet? This isn't what I chose to do. But if I took those funds, and this kind of links up with, there's a protocol where earlier this year people were talking about it, where you could create a wallet behind an NFT, and so that made me think that
ERC 1165.
Thank you. That's the one. So that made me think of something that was inspired by that, where I would just make a wallet for that clone, put the items in there, let them sell, and then use that as collateral to get a better offer on my clone. Because if all those sales, let's say it's, I don't know, a couple $1,000s in sales or whatever, is sitting in this wallet, and if you buy my silly human clone, well, you're going to be paying this much more because you've got this digital brand that I've created behind it, and it's bootstrapped and ready
My
to
clone
go.
has assets, motherfucker.
Right. So the value that you have built over time around this digital asset that you've owned can carry over in, an increased value.
Right, and it depends on how you want to do it. I didn't choose to separate the wallet. Maybe with a different clone that I don't feel like is my own. This one, I'm not planning on selling unless I can find like a Murakami drip version with horns, the exact same thing. Like, I'm good here.
That's interesting because a kid called Beast is doing that, where they're going to have separate sections. So, like this Beast that I have, if it has any like IP, like if I make a YouTube channel for it, or any kind of like, I don't know, merch or anything, that is all connected there. But like Kid Called Beast is working on creating that so that that's like built in, like baked into the whole equation when you have your beast, because well there's like a lot of people building stuff around it.
This whole digital identity thing is so like exciting because it makes me think of like when we're talking about user onboarding, right? Onboarding, became like a buzzword. And we're going to be defining utility, also became a buzzword, right? There's these things that became buzzwords, but they really do have meaning. And I think that what we're doing right here is we are really defining the meaning and pushing the boundaries and challenging of what does utility really mean? What does a digital identity really mean? And I think it's going to be a cataclysm for us to be able to onboard and introduce people to the metaverse and DCL and specifically. For example, like I took a workshop the other day about 3D printing, and I just went over there to learn how to use these 3D printers. And because I went over there to learn about this stuff, I was introduced to these 3D modeling software and to these apps that you need, right, to use in order to be able to create these things that I had no idea existed. And so I think that in this whole general quest of digital identities of what we're talking about, we're going to be able to use that as a cataclysm to introduce people to Decentraland, which are the applications and the tools, right, that we're going to be using that they had no idea about, and they're going to be introduced to them through something else. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole digital VRM avatar, digital identities are going to be a thing. Everything is being digitized. Your money's being digitized, right? Deeds and bank records and birth certificates and all of those things are becoming digital as well. You have a digital personality when you log on to the IRS now. You go online and you have, right? You have a digital login that you use, and that's going to continue to evolve. And I think it's going to serve for us to be able to use those things to introduce people to the tools, which is Decentraland.
Yeah, and there's this like scaffolding, I think, that people go through to get to that point. Like even Decentraland users, when they come in, they're kind of like wandering around. They're at Wonder Mines. Then maybe they get into the social scene. They know how to go to parties. Then they might like starting playing play to earn games, and then they want to make a wearable, so they learn Blender, and then that Blender skills translate to building, and then the next thing you know, like they're like a developer. So there's like this transition from like an entry user and to like a real big somebody participating more.
Right,
And I think
somebody's a
the same
full-blown creator. Yep.
yeah, and I think the same thing goes with PFPs. I mean, when I started, they were like crypto kitties. It was just like you looked at the kitties, you looked at them on the computer, and you just look at them, and there they are, and they don't do much, And even NFTs, like they're just the first NFTs. There wasn't much going on with them, but now we're talking about like taking your NFTs, like taking them out of the digital world into the physical world,
And
like the
building a whole
artifact
persona
shoes. I mean,
around it. Yep.
yeah. So I think there's
Complete with
just
lore
more.
and everything.
Bringing it back to Vipe and Polygonal Minds, they have a thing where they will, if you happen to be running a project, or if you want to bring it to the people who run your favorite NFT, they like have a thing where they will take your 2D JPEGs and turn them into like 3D avatars. And I don't know, they did it. They did it like
I believe they did
it with Bored Ape. Yeah, they did it with Bored Ape as like a proof of concept, so you can check it out there. But it seems like a pretty cool thing.
And they're also bringing the 100 Avatars project into Decentraland. So like those little 100 avatars that they had that they've been giving away for free for so long now, like all of those are going to be available in Decentraland. And I believe I've been too busy, so I didn't have a chance to read through the grant, but I believe that it's going to be a project where you get avatars for logging in or something like that. Like you log in, and it's supposed to increase engagement by giving people prizes and stuff like that for consecutive logins. I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm sure it's legit if Polygon, if Talk Sam's doing it, they're not scammers, but it still sounds like a scam to me. I'm just like, how did we buy T-shirts? We bought their digital T-shirts, guys, but I'm just kidding.
Vibe is so sick because of how ready to go their 3D files are, and like how you could just jump in and use it.
100%. I would not be able to take a Kid Called Beast or a clone and do anything of substance with it. I can get a Vipe into Hyperfi within a minute of
You can
minting it.
VTube with it immediately. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, they're rigged and ready to go.
And I love
Mouth
it.
movements, eye movements, blinking, everything.
I
Yeah,
love
they have donuts.
the way this conversation is going though, like with talking about the IP mixed with digital identity. I think that's what's gonna hit the hardest, because personally, I just have to say, like, when I got a PFP that I fell in love with, which is my clone, like I worked hard for it, and I love the way it looks. It doesn't look exactly like me, but you know, I resonate with it. It's my little guy. I love my clone, and my clone loves me. And when that happens, like, it could be a Kid Called Beast, it could be, you know, Vipe, it could
Yes.
be any of these it could be anything. It could be a project that hasn't even come up with, or maybe it's a tiny project that's not worth, you know, very much. But like when that happens, when you pair up with something that you could use as your avatar or as your token, and then you're able to jump in and socialize with people as that, I just have to say, like, I haven't taken the Clone X helmet off. Like, it feels so good to be able to control your identity like that. And I
Yes.
think once more people discover that, I think they'll find the same joy in it that I
Wait, is
have.
the
Most
preppy schoolboy
definitely.
era dead? I love preppy Dr. Drip schoolboy era. You always have like
You
that
can
nice sweater on. You're like, you got the Doki face and like the nice glasses.
Doki dripped me out, dude.
Is it gone now forever? Just gonna be a clone head?
No, I gotta rock the pumpkin horns. I had the Halloween version of the horns, so I'll pull those out eventually. But I'm just loving it so much, you guys.
So underneath the clone head, there will still be a beautiful preppy Dr. Drip.
Is
Yeah,
that the
that's so
name of
dope.
my Is that the
The
name of my
idea that
autobiography? Underneath the clone head.
That's it. I mean, I would. Someone's gonna release that book eventually in like 20 years.
Yeah, for sure. I like the idea that you can sort of change identities too, right? Like in the same way that we put on our uniform or our suit and go to work, you know, and or we change our tone within different spaces. You're going to be able to take on different identities within these different spaces. So you can really have sort of a multifaceted digital identity in the same way that you have that multifaceted identity in real life, where some people, you know, they might work at like a corporate place and then they cosplay on the weekends, you know, and you can change that. You can take something off and you can put something on, and you can not become someone else, but you can dabble into so many different experiences without all of the overhead, you know, because clothing is expensive, cosplay is expensive, costume is expensive, makeup is expensive, you know,
Clone
but
X is not expensive
largely
at
in the
all.
metaverse, you know, it can get expensive, but for the most part, there's a lot of stuff that you can get for free, and there's a lot that you're able to build, you know, with very, very little money. Like the amount of free wearables and things that giveaways that are available in Decentraland alone, you know, is enough, you know, for you to really build something out of it.
Lovely's wardrobe will prove that, because they have told me that they've like never bought anything, and they have an amazing, extensive, Knessa-esque worthy wardrobe, but at 0.
Well, everything costs
Yeah.
because you have to spend time, you know, for to earn those things. You have
Oh
to
yeah,
spend time playing and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe you haven't purchased anything with your money, but you've certainly purchased it with your time.
yeah. I mean, true, but some of us have spent way too much time here and way too much money. So you know,
Yes.
hats off to those who manage to just do one or the other.
Most definitely. Thank God for giveaways. I've have so much stuff that I wouldn't otherwise have if people weren't generous enough to like just set aside a portion of their wearables to be given away, you know, in things like the little CBD ducky races. You know, I've won a couple of those, and just DJ Tracks giveaways or Twitter
Well,
giveaways or
the
things like that.
Foundation's
The
free wearables
generosity of the
this
people
year
is
have been
amazing.
crazy. The free wearables this year that the Foundation released have been 10 out of 10. They stepped it up
And the
from like,
wing emo, that for I can't believe they made that free. Like they could have made so much money off of that, and then they made it free, and that was so nice, and I'm so thankful.
shout out to Fancy for making sure I have a love bomb. I don't think he's here today, but
Oh yeah, I totally had to spend mana on that one because I was unable to log into Decentraland period, so I didn't even get a chance to try. So if I didn't get it on Marketplace, I just wasn't gonna get it at all.
Yeah, I was in another state from my computer, and I hadn't purchased my laptop yet, and I was like, "Fancy, I'm so sad." And he's like, "Well, I'm already getting it for half of the CBD. I'll get you one too." Because he was just he's just on a quest because there's so many like he just I knows the farmers. He's just watching things get farmed, and he's just like, "What? Someone I know and like is like even the slightest bit mildly annoyed about this thing, and a farmer's gonna get it? I will not stand for it." And then he like makes a new account and like jumps in. He's like the Batman we need.
Fancy.
Yeah, I definitely needed it because I spent like 80 mana on it because there would have just been no other way for me.
I mean, that's the the spotlight theory. It's the first legendary released by the Foundation of a new thing. It's gonna be worth something. If assuming this whole thing doesn't cave in on itself, someday it will be a Black Lotus.
Yeah, and I mean, just for me personally, like out of all of the thousands of wearables that are available, there's just some that you just have to have, And when it comes to the emotes, that was just one of them.
I have that problem a lot. Like a lot.
Now that I need them to never fix that you can only have 100 emotes that work, because like I suddenly feel way less pressure to like get every emote I see and love, because I'm like, well, I almost am at a point where I won't be able to use all of them anyway, so I might as well give up. But once they fix that, I'm gonna be sad again.
Yeah, I think I end up rotating through some too. Like at first, I really, really liked them and I used them for a while, but then I'm like, I think I don't want this anymore. I'll let somebody else like enjoy it now, and then I'll end up selling it.
Oh, I don't sell anything because I'm always terribly afraid the thing I sell, that'll be the thing that becomes worth something.
FOMO,
so I just hold it all like a dragon. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, but I also like mana, and I also like don't make any money in the metaverse. So, like one of the ways of being able to like make mana to buy the things that I want is to like flip something, right, to buy it and then sell it to somebody else and make a little bit off the top, or just to sell some of the stuff that I have. And so that kind of opens up, the opportunity for me to get more stuff. Otherwise, I would just never be able to buy anything new.
You just got to tell them you'll like trade them something. You'll be like, I'll make a cool video for you. Give me some sweet mythics.
Speaking of trading, I'm so excited about the gift exchange coming up. If you guys haven't heard about it, or if you didn't participate last year,
there's a gift exchange.
Like
I'm probably not in the Discord that's being organized in.
NFT wearable gift exchange thing is coming up again. I just saw the tweet. And last year it was pretty cool. I took some wearables that I had like duplicates of, or stuff that was for giveaways anyway, and like some legendaries that were legendaries, but I didn't really care for them as much, and I put them into the little gift exchange, and I ended up getting back some really cool stuff that I did not have. So it was worth it for me.
Do you know who you're giving your thing to, or are you just like putting your cool wearable into the ether and just praying it doesn't go to someone you hate?
You're just praying it doesn't go to somebody you hate.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's coordinated by Santa. By Santa.
Okay.
DCL
so Tobik wasn't Tobik Santa the 2021? Wasn't he?
Oh, I don't know, but it's a Twitter.
I know that was just mostly. I assume that's not. He did. I didn't do anything with that event. That was like, I believe that was December 2021. I was here. I just wasn't participating in community events. But I believe, wasn't he Santa? Wasn't it him Santa and PB was the Grinch, or vice versa, or something? Am I?
It was.
Am I remembering this remotely?
Issa was one of
Krampus.
the Santas.
Yeah, Olavra.
Yeah, Krampus. PB was one of the Santas. Also Krampus.
It was intermingled roles. I see.
No, I think PB jumped teams halfway through because PB was definitely the best airdropper of that, and he was all around. He went to all the spots, made sure everyone got the drops. So he actually they kind of needed his efforts on Team Santa too. But I think this is my point to kind of brag a little bit again. The Last Slice team is going to save Christmas with a Christmas quest. If you guys saw the Coven quest for Halloween, it was a little clunky with the smart wearables. There's not going to be any smart wearables this time, so we're just going to kind of avoid that whole debacle of until they get the smart wearables, tuned in perfectly. So hopefully there's less technical problems that were with that quest. But you guys remember it was a sick quest either way, and so we're gonna have some crazy drops for everyone and some games.
You're
I
such a
got like
good, you're
10
such a
wearables
dedicated
through
salesman.
that.
He's like,
I mean, he's not wrong. You know, it's easy to be enthusiastic about events that are, I would say, high quality. I didn't have anything to do with it. I went and participated. I got like 10 different wearables, a couple of legendaries.
well,
I didn't
must
know
be
they were
nice.
doing
It did
something.
not work for me at all. I was so frustrated. It was so brutal.
Well,
It
it
was
was
so bad.
a click to reward ratio. It was like 100 to 1 or something like that. So you had to click about 100 of them just to get one, and they were constantly dropping the number of clicks you needed to or whatever.
Oh, you're
They
talking
changed
about the thing they did afterward. They did like a second Halloween event, not with the DG thing.
Oh, that one at Angzar. So that one
I
was
didn't
dope
give
too,
you.
and that one happened at the same time. So yeah, that's perfect because you can basically combine the two mechanisms. And I can't say too much, but it's gonna be fun. Like I've seen the way it works, and it kind of reminds me of Krampus and Santa, which they didn't do that last year, and it was the greatest event of all time.
Well, last year we had the snowball fight, which is actually still like in Vegas City somewhere. I've now discovered it with the new map. And you're like, oh, there it's still there. Why don't we ever do that? But
Yeah, Krampus and Santa event was literally like RuneScape back in the day, dropping party crackers and Santa hats. Like that's literally what it felt like.
you RuneScape nerds, I'll never understand you. So many of you.
Me
Like
neither.
I literally never heard of that game. I like worked in gaming and with the nerdiest RPG people. I never heard of that game until I came to Decentraland, and I'm like, how did I have this glaring oversight in my gaming education?
Oh, that reminds me. Okay. Creators here. I need to. I'm still waiting for a banner for this, but I could totally use this as a jumping point. That holiday quest that I was just talking about. If you are a wearable creator or an emote creator and want to submit an item that's going to be like a premium drop for this, please reach out to me because there's going to be some opportunities for big rewards that we would like to source some other creators and get them a chance to get their work out in front of everyone. So if you're planning on creating any kind of holiday based Decentraland item, hit me up and we'll see about getting you some promotion on it through this quest. Please, I love you guys. Let's keep creating. But yeah, if you're gonna be making a Christmas holiday, any kind of holiday item at all, hit me up.
Guys, let's not make holidays themed wearables. Like you're really it's such a niche. The market's already so hard to sell out in. I really don't think you should do that to yourselves. Also, to the
I
the
don't know, though.
KOA
I'm
team,
excited.
Madamus is here. Well, no more holiday mythics, okay? We tried it one year. Do we really want to have reindeers on all year round because that's the best possible head slot? No, we don't want that. It's ridiculous to have reindeer horns on in July. Please don't make them best in class, best
You
slot items.
no,
I'm
you
excited about my Jingle Balls sweater that I got last year from Art Cibola. He won like second place, I think, in the ugly sweater contest. And it's like the little upside down like snowman or whatever, and he's I'm gonna wear it again. I can't wait. I wait all year to wear these things again.
It's the time of the year where everyone gets to all the lucky people who get the DG Mythic Christmas sweaters each year get to remind me that I never get one. And there are so many.
hey, that floor, that
Oh yeah, I'm
sweater.
another unlucky soul.
The Wagami sweater, that thing's like Mary Shark's the only one listing it, and she's got it for like 7,000 mana. I'm like, come on,
Are you
Mary, come on.
are you talking about the sweater with Baby Bow? Because that was like your Baby Boss. That was like 400 mana.
Yeah. There's one right. I think that one was listed yesterday. I compiled a list. My birthday is in like under 3 weeks, so my goal is to try to peer pressure some DG staff to give me mythics that I don't own. Because I've looked, I have 5 of 28 DG mythics. Boss Owns has 2 of each, two of the like L1s. So I'm gonna try to I'm trying to plot out my 2-week campaign of how to get Boss to give me an Ethereum mythic L1. I don't think it's gonna work, but that's my goal.
I don't know. I tried getting a second crown, and he was gonna happily trade me some L1 ice poker items. No, that was for my L5 ice pants, ice suit pants. And I'm like, no, but I'll trade it for a high roller crown. And he laughed, and
Yeah,
then I
those
laughed.
those technically, because I think there are 11 of those in existence. I believe those are going to end up coming. They're going to mint more of those with the casino being open. Because like the way you originally earned those was like you spent X amount in the casino, you got one of those casino crowns. And like since they because there's the DG joggers, there's the DG hoodie, there's like a bunch of items. There's the air, not air DGs, but the Nikes. But either way, there's like a bunch of DG L2s that had been like minted in like early 2021. That like for the longest time there were 25 or less of them, and some people like me spent at what it can only be described as way more than they should have since they've since been reminted and are now cruising their way towards 1,000 of them existing. So given that, I think this is like in the same genre of realm of thing that will eventually they'll remit more of those crowns. Like all 100 of those crowns will one day exist, I think.
Yeah, that's okay. It's more of a princess crown for me anyway, and I like the one I've got.
The casino crown is a better looking crown than the ice crown, but like only barely. Only barely.
Oh, I meant to do a thumbs down. No, I used to think that too from the picture, but then I saw it on the avatar. It's too princess, and I'm not a princess.
Maybe that's true for the lady avatars, but for the dudes, and maybe it's just because like I can still just picture like Spicy and like Sauce wearing it when I like first came
we just
around.
Want to be long. We just want to be good enough. If we get enough crap.
Come on, Skylar.
I don't know. Hopefully they won't release them. It's nice to have some stuff out there that you haven't added to the collection, because then once you do, then the game is up.
The DG Mythics on L1, that's where those I feel like are the least talked about, impossible to get items that I don't think you own any of. Now, to be fair, they are primarily like duty items, like a suit, pants, but like those are like, and not most of them aren't even fully minted out. Most of them are like 9 of them existed, and I'm pretty sure it's impossible to like go back to L1 wearables and like spit them out still. I'm not 100% sure. It might just be impossible for DG to do it, because I've tried to get Sauce to do other items of that nature, and I believe he doesn't have the keys to that those mints.
Yeah, I think I've paid for enough DG items with my own blood, and so I think I'm good. I don't.
Well, no, you don't ask him to pay for them. You just go like, Sauce, like buddy, pal, chief.
Oh, okay.
I tweet a lot about wearables. I'm kind of a big deal. My name's Canessa. Don't know if you've heard about me, but I'd really like, some of these here items.
Is that all I have to do? I'll research that. I'll figure
yeah,
that.
I mean, the results may vary.
They might.
I was like, bro, I'm gonna try that.
Well, step one is to get a crown. Cheddar, I'm not. You're a fabulous, valuable member of the Decentraland community, but I'm not sure Sauce is intimately familiar with your contributions to Team DG. So
no, not necessarily with DG, but just like in general.
I think Cheddar. I think you should try.
Let the record show that this advice was just for Canessa. I just want that on the record. Anyone else going to Sauce is not allowed to go, Jared said I should hit you up. That would be strictly. That would not be cool for me.
Yeah, anybody that was upgrading
I'd be begging in.
Oh, that's great. But never.
That said, I'd be happy to trade some DG Mythics. If anyone has any they're trying to trade, reach out to me. I'm looking to get all of them. If anyone's friends with Enwiz, he hates me, or we're not friends. If you could trick him into trading you them, I'll then trade you for some. He has a lovely collection.
And on that note, it might be a good time to start wrapping up, because I know we've got we only have like an hour before our music festival starts, and some of us should probably eat and try to eat, hydrate, get normal, because then we've got music the rest of the day, which yeah, hopefully everybody's able to come by. We've got the build going, the music's already, well, the stream is already going. Tell your friends, tell your moms, your sisters, your brother-in-laws, and bring them down, because we've got, I think, 10 DJs today playing. And so the festival continues. The Make a Music Festival starts in a little bit.
All right, we'll see you guys there.
Pretty excited. Right here, I'm putting together what we're gonna start with. The first 2 hours, we are gonna start with music contributions from community members by they were contributions made by Blease, Steve Stye, Argent, Ebaber. Ebaber is a very talented Siberian singer that I met recently. So very happy to have them, share some music on Decentraland with us. Then followed by, after the first 2 hours, then we will have a performance by a kid called Void from the Kid Called Beast community. Very excited to have him kind of like, get more involved with the Central Land. He seemed very excited when I spoke with him, and definitely will be in touch with him. DJ Vape will follow after with a live performance at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by DJ Ability at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Mr. BigMouth.eth starting the hour off, followed by Kaguya, and then the hour will end with Love Louie.
Was
So,
Mr.
yeah,
Big Mouth the Meta Trekker winner for like the first one they did?
I don't know. I really don't look in that direction.
I think it was Steve Side.
He is, but I don't look in the direction of what place he may. But yeah, I believe he was
I feel like we should
part
like
of all
take
that.
something, like we spent the DAO spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this. We should at least be like, yeah, I'm like the champion of the 6-figure competition. We should at least we don't have to
I think it was Steve Side that won the first one, wasn't
he won the first one? Okay. Did Big Mouth make the second one? I feel like Big Mouth at least did very well, maybe.
He performed. I think he did well. I mean, from the set that I got, I mean, it's looking good, and he's actually like a very, very pleasant individual to like speak with and stuff like that. Like he's so like he wants to like be a part of this.
Oh, what a gentleman.
Oh yeah, and I also managed to get some music contributions by Weiberger Girl. I know that Weiberger Girl was in this space like a few weeks back, curious about performing. We are like 12 hours apart, so it was like a bit of a journey to get like connected, but we did it last night, and yeah, we have some music from her as well.
Simple, do you own any Vipe yet? Do you have a Vipe hero?
I have one.
Just one? This is a perfect opportunity to get 6 more. And then you can have a whole host. Do you have any property in Upstreet? That's the thing I'm most interested in. I'm like, I know Odd Job has some.
That deal is the best. Like you get what, on Cyber World, an Upstreet deed,
on Cyber,
and
Hyper-Fi, World, and another thing, and then a sword for Nifty Island, which I've never played with. But also, I mean, like, the Vipe community is the best.
With your Vipe too, they come with their own room, so you also get a space with each Vipe that you buy.
Yeah, you get it. You'll get that. Have they actually released those officially yet, or do I still have to wait a week before I get that?
They haven't released them yet. They're still working on them. But I have seen, I have seen the previews of the rooms, and they're pretty insane. Like, what other NFT like project gives you a fully rigged VRM avatar that you can use for VTubing right away and a space.
Yeah, like here, like in most projects when like they'd announce this thing like, yeah, guys, we're going to be doing houses for your Vipe, and like in my cynical mind, I was like, oh, that's cool, guys. Like, thanks for selling me some more shit. Like, how about you guys just mint out this thing I already minted? And then like I like someone else was like, Jared, have you seen like the thing you're gonna get? Like, oh, I mean, you don't know for sure I'm gonna get. Like, no, Jared, they're just gonna give it to you. Like, you're like, wait, what? They're just gonna give me more stuff. I already paid them like months ago. They're just gonna give me more shit. I thought the what? That's
right.
not how NFTs work. Don't they know that they're supposed to just milk me dry? They already got my money. What do they want from me? But yeah, like they just give you more value. Like who does that? Nobody. And on top of that, it's all like cool nerds trying to like learn stuff. So like if you're into 3D building or like doing any kind of building in the metaverse, like they're pretty. They're like there's no one talking about the money. There's no flippers. It's all just like artists working and building. It's very relaxing. It's like the only place you'll find me not being an asshole. It's amazing. They're just so chill. It's like a very zen place. I mean, I wouldn't say never being an asshole, like but like the least amount of asshole probably would be the way to phrase that.
All right, it's 3:00, so I'm going to jump out of here and let Canesta and Sinful get something to eat.
Reply to my DM, Cheddar.
I will see you guys over there.
Reply to my DM. I asked you a question like an hour
ago. Good seeing you here, Cheddar, and yeah, everyone up here. Thank you for the amazing conversation, and yeah, I guess we could start going around the room for some final thoughts. Jared, I'll start with you.
That is Vipe, VIPE.io. That's all you got to remember, Vipe.io. You should check it out. It's by Polygonal Mind. Oh, yeah, Sweet Alpha. They'd mentioned that Megacube, if you're a DCL person, you know Megacube. That sounds like they're going to do another one in the coming spring. Doesn't sound like it's going to be in Decentraland, which is both sad to me, but also very exciting because, like, Polygonal Mind's not going to, like, wherever they go, like, I don't know, because I think they just got into, like, what is one of those games? Either way, I don't know. Check out Vipe.io. Keep your fingers on the pulse of the metaverse. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jared. Cheddar, are you still up here for final thoughts, or?
I am still here, and not really any final thoughts. The holidays are coming up, so I hope everybody's gonna have a wonderful holiday season. And we are now at the end of November. Does anyone know what December will be as far as theme month?
Holiday. Just holidays.
Oh, okay. All right. So I would say, that's what I'm excited about coming up next is what next, theme month we have and what installations, events, wearables, or projects are going to be coming out, in the next few weeks around that theme.
Thank you, Cheddar.
National Mama Day is a holiday in December.
I'll pass it over to Senor for final thoughts.
Hey man, I just want to thank everybody for all the good knowledge that was thrown my way, man. It was dope. You should see my notes right now. So, I'm taking everything in, and it was dope. Thank everybody for being here.
Thank you for being here. Pass it over to you, Doc.
Brandon 10, Wisher Vodka. Shout out. No, shout out. Everyone's here. Let's see. Last week I got to meet Kevin on Earth. That was dope. I went to Complex Con to see the artifacts Nike Dunks, and they were way crazier than the renders. Like the materials are insane. Kevin was telling me, and Kevin's rad, by the way. He was way cool. I don't want to say I didn't think he'd be cool, but like he is so cool.
I think it's okay to say that, honestly.
He is, yeah, he's pretty cool. Well, so he was telling me that like they're promoting like the creators to make the add-ons for the dunks. Like you're gonna be able to like 3D print your own add-ons and sell those. So like the creator space with Fidgetals is about to be popping off. I'm really excited about the Artifacts project. But it was really cool. I hung out with Rustan all day. I thought he would be like with this entire entourage. He was like hitting me up, me and M to meet up, and I thought he'd be with this whole crew, so we walked around for like an hour, and then we met up with him. He was all alone, so we got to hang out with him all day. I skated in a skate demo. There was a skate demo there. Um, and the night before, we hit up the Clone X VIP party. DJing was Josh Pan, which, if you guys know the Skrillex track "My Existence," he produced that with them. He's on that title. But they didn't let him play his own music. It was really weird, and this guy was the old roommate of somebody that used to master my tracks when I was making dubstep back in the day. So I went and talked to him, and he told me all that. So I went up to the VIP room and like asked him to let him drop his own music, and we ended up having like a really killer time. It was a lot of fun. And I'm about to share a picture up top. You guys could see the dunks, and you could see me skating. I got to skate a demo. I definitely wasn't like the sickest one out there, but I was really proud. I didn't embarrass myself, and that's me. But yeah, those are my final thoughts. Thank you so much for letting me be here and letting me talk so much. But yeah, love you guys. Bye.
Always
Thank
love having you
you.
here, Doc. Now I'll pass it over to Kanessa.
Yeah, thank you for being here, everybody. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks, especially for coming in, World. And some of you have been here all morning, so we appreciate that, because without you, we would just be talking to each other about our coffee. So you are what makes this happen. And hope you all have a good week, and we will talk to you next week.
Thank you, everyone. And yeah, join us at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna, Meg and I are just gonna kick it off, and we'll move into some live performances. Really looking forward to this. I did pin a tweet at the top, as well as drop it in the comments for. It's just a tweet with all relevant links. Link to Decentraland, where the location where we're gonna be partying, and Twitch and Kick, in case you can't make it to Decentraland. And yeah, let's just have a good time and celebrate Music Month together. Thank you, everyone, and take care.